found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show. You found Radio Free Tennessee. Your Tony Basilio Show will begin momentarily. Keep it locked in right here at TonyBasilio.com and on your Tony Basilio app. And hey, do us a favor. Spread the word. Another award-winning, thought-provoking, action-packed edition of the Tony Basilio Show is coming up next. Tips are always appreciated here at TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. You found the Tony Basilio stream at TonyBasilio.com.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
TB here, you there. It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I was all alone. Close the window, come alive, because it was not going to be all right. Those Kentucky Necks were attacking me. And I do mean necks. You could hear them. I got a really good... If those of you listen to the show daily, like some of the regulars, when they'll call in, I'll recognize even like the... I don't even know what you would call it. I can hear like the signal of their phone. My ears are extremely good like that. Like even though I play music, I keep it really low. I've got really good ears. Now I've got some tinnitus from wearing headphones down through the years and get that ringing in my ear sometimes, especially when my nose... when my sinuses get really bad, but I can really hear. And those Kentucky fans here, they look. They just all breathe through their mouths, man. Brian, that's not an offensive thing to say, is it? I mean, they're just total mouth breathers.
Well, the shoe fits, so you got to wear it.
Bri, they came in here and took our lunch money 6 out of 7 years. Now, you're the most and by the way, shout out to Nega Dave one more time, who lost his dad, and he's had a rough weekend, and God bless Nega Dave. Bino's getting ready to join us here momentarily. All right, Bri, let's go around the room. Catch or no catch in the NFL game the other day?
In the Buffalo-Denver game in overtime?
Yes, sir, in the Saturday night game. Catch or no catch, Bri?
That's an interception. I think that's an interception by Denver. The right call was made.
Let me get Bino in here. Bino, catch or no catch? You from your sports book.
Tony, I think it was an interception, but I can certainly understand why Bills fans were upset.
Yep. Like, in the moment, if my team was that close to getting through, boy. And then Clooney's Broncos lose their quarterback in the final play of the game. That's painful. That game last night in Chicago, y'all, was an all-time classic. All-time. I was listening to some Chicago talk radio last night. Those people were in some real pain last night. Real pain. Now, I don't know who's beating Seattle. I picked Seattle at the outset of the tour. I picked Seattle midway through the year on here as my team to go to the Super Bowl and maybe win it. But geez Louise, man, what a great game last night. The elements last night. Beanstar, from where you were in the casino over there with the, what did you make of that ball game?
I thought it was an absolutely fantastic game, Tony, and that circus-style casino there in Franklin, Kentucky at the Mint is fantastic. It is absolutely beautiful. If you've seen the real one, this is just a mini version of it. But, Tony, there was no one there except for that game. And it wasn't a great crowd that game, but it was the best crowd that was in the casino the whole time I was there because the Bear fans came out and represented. And when Williams made that miracle throw in the end zone for the completion, that's the only response I heard all weekend that was like what I was accustomed to at other sports books in big sporting events.
Yeah, because that's part of the fun of it. I mean, nobody wants to go – if you're going to go to a sports book and you go 3 hours away from home, they got to figure out a way to get some people in that place. Now, what is it, like less than an hour away from Nashville, right, Bino?
Yeah, I've got a buddy that lives on the south side of Nashville. It takes him about 45 minutes to get there.
Yep.
I think if you live on the north side of Nashville, you can get there within 15 minutes.
I mean, come on, man. Now, Nashville Lee, he hooked you up with some winners over the weekend. Lee was hot. And Lee tonight, and maybe we'll hear from him later on, Lee tells me he's on Miami tonight. He feels an upset special cooking. Everybody's out of the closet now. They were all Hoosiers. Who knew? I was watching that CBS Sunday morning show with timeless Jane Pauley on there. She's so sweet. And she said, I'm a Hoosier. And she showed photos of herself. She tells the game about, Bri, what high school was it when the Hoosier High School, that Hoosiers
was Hickory in the movie, but
Hickory.
I believe it was based on Milan High School.
Milan High School, that's exactly right. Milan.
Real life.
She said that she was 4 years old. Her parents put their family to bed. She has a family photo of her at the age of 4 with her family. And she says that the kids go to bed. She says, this is how much of a Hoosier I am. She said, basketball is just a part of our DNA. She said that was the first TV, first high school tournament that was ever televised. So those kids basically captured the entire state. That Hoosier story is a real story. I mean, they're the smallest classification, playing the biggest classification. I guess up there at Hinkle Fieldhouse, I guess is where they played. I don't get all the particulars, but she told the story, and she said, look, I went to IU in the 70s. She said, we were a basketball school. We've been terrible in football. And she said, this is all new. She said, but, I'm embracing it. And everybody's looking for their angles on this thing. The poor kid from the Vols the other day, they kept showing him Kerry over and over again because his father played at Miami on maybe their last national championship team, Beanstar. They kept showing that dad, and that dad, by the time that thing was over, was slumped down in his chair, Bino. Those rednecks were attacking me, Bino. Those rednecks came for me on the call-in show. Those Kentucky Billies. They were unleashed on me Saturday. No Matt, no Brian, no Kyle, no Alex, no C, just Basilio in here trying to defend the Vols' honor. Hey, Bino, you want to defend the Vols' honor after Saturday?
No, it would be extremely difficult to do, Tony. That's just a really, really bad loss. And it was a blueprint for how to lose a ball game. Just basically give away a big portion of your lead at the end of the first half, and then come out in the second half. You can't get a stop. When you get a stop, you can't get a rebound. You miss free throws. You're our typical weak with a ball late in the game. That's just the blueprint on how to lose, and Tennessee did all the above.
So let's get to it, guys. Here are our three top questions. Brian, Rusty Staub Jr., Bri. Did we find our quarterback in quarterback number 112? We went from quarterback number 1 or 2 in the portal to quarterback 112. For those of you wondering, I don't think we had a plan. Bri, your thoughts on Rusty Staub, and are you excited about the Rusty Staub era?
Well, I saw where Jake Merklinger was ranked, I think, nearly 60 spots higher.
26. Yeah, he's
I think something like that. So that says a lot right there. I still am holding out hope. February 10th's the date.
Yep.
Until they say Joey Aguilar is not coming back, not eligible.
Yep.
I'm going to still hold out some hope. So we've got 3 more weeks left to do that.
The whole thing's unbelievable, Andy. Bino, are you excited about the 5'6'1", 200-pound, which is more like it, by the way. He's got SEC size. 6'1", 200. Ryan Staub, 112th best quarterback in this year's portal. As Tennessee continues to add players. And in the portal, Tennessee continues to stay active. As they've added a bunch of players so far in the portal.
Tony, when I was a kid, I've always been a Yankee fan, but just to kind of annoy some of my Brave fan buddies, I adopted a National League team.
Yep.
And both of my brothers had gone to Houston to sell dictionaries in the summer to make money.
Wow.
And they attended Astros games when they were there, so I adopted the Astros. So if we got Legrand Orange grandson coming in here at quarterback, I'm going to pull for him. But my hope is, Tony, my hope has become that G-Mac is going to be more ready to play than our coaching staff believes that he is. I mean, it wouldn't be and that's just a hope. That's not a belief. That's a hope. And it wouldn't be the first time that a coaching staff was being over-precautious in putting a young kid out on the field.
It's a G-Mac attack. It's a real deal and a Mac attack. It's a G-Mac attack. So
eat some Big Macs, G-Mac.
Yeah, G-Mac. G-Mac. The G-Mac pounder. I could just see it right now. G-Mac needs to... Who was the guy that the late, great filmographer that did Super Size Me, Bride? Do you remember?
No, I do not.
Morgan Wallen. No, Morgan. What was that guy's name? Supersize Me. Morgan, whatever. Anyway, G-Mac needs to supersize himself. Pete said, Pete says, I'll take a G-Mac with cheese, please. Okay, so we got 3 questions. Do you think, Brian Hartman, that La Grande Jaringe, or whatever Bino says they used to call Rusty Staub. Rusty Staub was a great player. He was what you call country strong. He was a big old dude. He was in the Boog Powell mold. Those old players, man. They don't write them like that anymore. Greg Kinn, in the key of A minor. Brian, do you believe in this Staub kid? Do you believe that this is a kid that can lead us out of the wilderness and into the promised land? Brian.
I believe he can come in and be given a chance to compete.
Yes.
And we'll see if McIntyre can beat him out. But I still am going to hold on to hope that on February 10th, they'll get some good news about Joey Aguilar. I'm still holding on to that.
All right, question number 2.
Call me crazy, but I still have hope.
Question number 2 for the living listener. So the Vols didn't have a plan at quarterback. They ended up with Rusty Staub, and whatever. Question number 2. Is our basketball team in trouble, or is this a blip? Or is this team in trouble? Bino, Jeff Henderson, what's your answer right now? We're just snapshotting here in time.
I think this team is what it is, Tony, which is not very good. I think it's a tournament team, but a different seed than we're accustomed to.
Yep. Back of the field NCAA tourney team, yes?
Yes.
Brian's this team in trouble after Saturday? Could they go on a slide here? They've got Alabama and Georgia. They're off this week. They got to figure some things out. Talking to our silent partner, C, who's expected to come back at some point in February, but he says to me, can you get more instinctive? Can you teach a team to get more instinctive? Because this team, for whatever reason, lacks instinct, and that's a difficult thing to acquire.
I think you or I could have telegraphed that pass and picked it off that Gillespie threw there at the end of the game that led to their go-ahead basket.
Yep. There's just so many losing things.
Team, I don't have any faith in this team at all. I'm about emotionally done with them.
So I was poking around. I was poking around yesterday while I was kind of minding my own business. And one of the things I gleaned is that, check this out, guys. So they told this Boswell, and I'm not picking on the Boswell guy because he's for what he's supposed to be, he's okay. He's not an SEC 2 guard. I'm not sure what he is, but he's a good hard-nosed player who tries. They tell the guys, look, we're coming out of this timeout and we're getting a 3-point shot. Okay? We're getting a 3-point shot. He's over there, as soon as they throw the ball in, leaning on a guy trying to foul grift and get to the foul line, which flies right in the face of what they just said in the timeout. These guys don't think. And what we got used to here is seeing players who were extensions of coaches on the floor. Josiah Jordan-James. Everybody wants to talk about what you're not when you're a 5-star player, but what he was a really smart, team-oriented player. Vescovi. Everybody wants to talk about what you're not. He wasn't fleet of foot, but what he was a guy that made pretty good decisions on the basketball floor. Now, did he do some dumb things? Sure, he's a college basketball player. This team here, if you just watch them, think about the Texas A&M game. Fouling, was it 2 or 3, Bri, 3-point shooters in the act in one basketball game? They just constantly are doing stupid things on the floor. And the last 5 minutes of that game the other night, AC/DC has a tune called A Whole Lot of Rosie. They're a whole lot of stupid. And you're not going to win games doing things like that. So it is what it is. All right, so the basketball front, if you want to talk about that. Did we find our quarterback in Staub? Is Bino right? Is it time to, I don't know, put some weight behind the GMAC conversation? Or is Brian right and the Hail Mary is going to be answered? He knows. Maybe Tennessee has that Williams kid from Chicago litigating that deal. Bino, how about the wide receiver at Chicago last night not running that route and completing it? And it goes as an interception for poor Williams because the DB makes a play on the ball. How bad is that in the moment? How mad would you be as a Bears fan after that incredible play to get that thing into overtime, Paulie Joe?
Yeah, and a real good receiver, a real reliable receiver, too, made that play. I don't know if he had brain freeze out there or exactly what happened, but you become so accustomed to Caleb Williams making every play, you figure someone was going to be wherever he threw it.
We got a Big Blue Nation guy in our YouTube room. I'll say this about the Big Blue Nation people. They're smart basketball fans. Now, the other day, they were coming in here trying – and look, if we won 6 or 7 times in their building, we'd be totally dunking on them. I get it. The crazy thing is, Bri, they've beaten us 6 out of the last 7 in our building when nobody else does. And the craziest thing about it is that they've done it at a time where they haven't been to an Elite 8 in like 7 years, Bri. So what are we doing? Talk to me here, Brian. Explain that to me. Because they're totally mid right now. They're mid. Kentucky basketball is mid on dry ice. You got John Calipari, bought all those players and ran out of steam at the end. You know that's true. You're a diminished national brand. That's what you are. We're way more successful than you in the last 6, 7 years in college basketball. It's not even close. It's not even close. But you do get to come down here and win in our building, and it pisses me off. And it's really starting to urinate me off. And it's very frustrating, and it's very stupid. But your team still sucks. They were like, well, you're not, you keep calling us a tomato can. What are you? What is Kentucky this year? You're a tomato can. Kind of like we are. Like Bino said, Bino's right. We're going to get to the tournament, and we're going to go home the first weekend unless our team greatly improves, and yours isn't. You don't have your point guard, and your big man's getting ready to get shut down. And that was an aberration what happened the other day. What happened the other day was supposed to happen because for whatever reason, lately in the Rick Barnes era, he has his worst games against them, and our brains go to mush against you. And look, I could live with it. If Jody Meeks comes into our building and goes for 50, we did a Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime after that game, and we were like, hey, man, that's a hell of a performance. That was 2 mid-basketball teams midding it out the other day. Midding it out. That was a mid-out the other day. What do you think, Brian, this Kentucky team?
If that would have been one of Barnes' better teams, they would have won that game by 30.
Oh! They
would have. And what I don't tolerate is how they lost the game. You're up 17.
Yep.
Kentucky played a great game, and they just beat you somehow.
Yep.
You can sort of live with it, although you wouldn't like it.
Yep.
But the way they lost that game is just inexcusable. But I will say this. The most important game Tennessee and Kentucky have played came last March in the Sweet 16, and we all know what happened then. And I don't think Kentucky, this Kentucky team ain't going to go as far as last year's team.
L to the F to the G. No, neither one of these teams, Bino, is getting to the Sweet 16. Now, the tournament's crazy, but neither one of these teams, Bino, is built to get out of the first weekend in my mind right now.
Looking at this team right now, Tony, I think it'll be extremely difficult for them to get out of the first weekend.
Yep.
They'll have to improve in several areas.
Yep. And this Kentucky beating us, though, is utterly disgusting. It's gross, and it's getting on my last nerve. Because y'all are mid. Y'all are in a period where your program has totally disappeared from the national view. Yeah, you get to the Sweet 16 last year. Did you guys print T-shirts for that? You should have. It's like your high water mark in the last 10 years. All that hype. All that excitement, as they say in the trade. And what? For what? One Sweet 16 appearance in like 8 years? Hey, Kentucky fan, get the T-shirt, man. Lap it up. Because you know your head coach sucks right now. You know that's not going anywhere. I mean, the guy looks like Bambi. And he coaches like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So what are you going to come in here and talk trash on the post game? And then I'm going to sit there and fight for the Vols honor? Like I told Laura, I went upstairs after that. I was like, geez. I'm going to fight for the Vols honor when the Vols are this year's edition. It's a pretty idiotic basketball team, if you want my humble opinion. To this point anyway, we continue. I love Barnzo. Hey, you get 2 fouls, you're coming out. I don't care what the game is. I don't care what the opponent is. If I've got to pull Boswell and Gillespie off the floor to prove my point, I will prove my point. And by the way, we will have our center 40 feet from the basket committing fouls. 2 things that you can just absolutely count on. And the guy's ultra successful, but boy, is he stubborn, like a lot of these basketball coaches are. We'll get some calls in. They're all jammed. I got to ask Bino about Danny White's declaration on Friday. We went from what we used to call ourselves, Brian, the everything school. Is that what Danny used to say? Everything school to
everything school.
Yeah, and now we're the integrity school. So continue with more. So we lost with integrity on Saturday. I want you to know that after this. When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gouffon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gouffon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years. 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gouffon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gouffon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gouffon.com. That's Gouffon.com. Or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gouffon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution, Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Cold weather is here. Is your heating system ready and running efficiently? Don't wait to find out. A simple tune-up now can help prevent costly breakdowns when you need your heat the most. Right now, Pipe Wrench is offering a $79 heating system tune-up to keep your home warm, safe, and worry-free all winter long. Our certified technicians inspect, clean, and fine-tune every part of your heating system for maximum efficiency and comfort, helping you avoid surprise breakdowns and high energy bills. And with Pipe Wrench Home Service's same-day service guarantee, you won't be left out in the cold waiting for help. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Schedule your $79 heating system tune-up today at pipewrench.com before winter decides to test your heater. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. And as always, same-day service guaranteed or the visit is free. For standard systems only, visit pipewrench.com for details.
TB here with Alan of WeShipFloors.com. Tell them about it, Alan.
Hey, I'm Alan from WeShipFloors.com. Our competition's prices, well, they're going up. Ours are coming down. Our waterproof floor Supercore is the best, and right now it starts at $199 a square foot. Our warehouses are full of 4mm, 6mm, and 8mm. You strapped for cash? Well, we have our own in-house financing. Use our room visualizer and order some free samples today. Supercore from WeShipFloors.com. Best products at best price.
Like Alan said, head over to WeShipFloors.com. Use the room visualizer on the website. Drop in any of the 120 Supercore floors virtually into your room and order your free samples today. WeShipFloors.com. Tennesseans, they are us. The best product, the best price. WeShipFloors.com. Living Vol fan, when it's time to get ready for 2026 and what's ahead, there's only one place. It's Alumni Hall. The best and largest selection of Tennessee apparel for the whole family. Top brands, Nike, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar. And check this out. All the basketball stuff that the Tennessee basketball fan could ever need. Some great Tennessee baseball stuff as well. Any season, any reason. Alumni Hall, 3 locations in Knoxville. Also Murfreesboro, Bristol, and now open, of course, in Johnson City. And anytime online, alumnihall.com. Say it loud, say it proud. The ultimate volunteer shopping experience. Alumni Hall.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
TB back with you, 865-200-5402. So tonight's quarterback, Carson Beck, was asked about, going to class and juggling school and this and that over the weekend. He said, I haven't gone to a class in 2 years. I graduated 2 years ago, he said. Now, was he kidding? Was he serious? I think he was kind of serious. Because somebody's asking about Joey Aguilar. Is he enrolled in school? School's a pretense right now. Pretext around a lot of this stuff. Bri, you wanted to get something off your chest, and Bino wanted to get something off his chest, and callers come first. So you guys go, and then we'll get to the callers.
Yeah, I just wanted to give Queen Kimmy a shout out. The Lady Vols are 5-0 in the SEC, and they won all 5 games by double digits. So I think that's worth a mention amidst all the negativity of Saturday.
It's We Bat Pat Week. Kentucky's in town. LFG, man. I tried to watch some of that game yesterday. That Alabama team they played yesterday is horrendous.
And somehow they were 17-2.
Is that a rough watch? No offense to them. Let's go back to our phones. But yeah, the Lady Vols are off to a 5-0 start. The way the conference shakes out this year, if you look at it, there's about 5 teams spending money. Tennessee's one of them. I think Kentucky's one of them. Vanderbilt's got a pretty nice team. Texas has a pretty nice team. The Lady Vols are going to get to crack at these teams down the line, but it's not your grandma's SEC, let's put it that way, in women's basketball like it used to be back in the day. But we'll go back to our phones. Queen Kimmy doing weak. But yeah, the Lady Vols have, no offense to our Kentucky fan, your men's team, but your women's team is better than your men's team, and your men's team's a tomato can. Your women's team is number 7 in America, one of the better teams in the country, and we'll see them later this week.
I don't know how good the Lady Vols are.
Oh, I agree.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I think they're going to have trouble beating the Texases and South Carolinas. I don't see that happening.
The problem I see
it's nice to be 5-0, and it's nice to have a 6-game winning streak.
The problem I see with the Lady Vols is these kids they got from Pennsylvania look like nice kids. Pow or small. That girl playing point guard is now. I hope I'm wrong, but she's way too little to play at this level against the real deal teams. Now we'll see. But early on in the season, she's a true freshman, but she was getting shoved around. We'll see what happens. But I follow the sport. You know, I gotta stay conversant in it. I gotta break it down scientifically. But boy, our men's team is hard to watch right now. Bean Joe Jeff, you had a thought, then we go to the phones.
Yeah, Tony, just a quick thought about Gillespie. He's had a couple of rough finishes here, both handling the ball and shooting free throws. I wonder if we just haven't put so much on him that by the end of the game he's totally worn out. It would be great if we had someone else that you could rely on to get him off not only off the court a little bit, but without the ball in his hands, where he could move over there to 2 guard and maybe not be totally. I may be wrong. He may just not be playing well at the end of these contests, but I think we've got him in a position where the staff doesn't have any faith in anyone else to handle the ball for any amount of minutes.
Well, I think you're exactly right, Bino. And I think that those errors he's making at the end of games look like a guy that's totally exhausted. Look, the guy's an 80+% foul shooter, and he's gone 1 of 2 twice, which, you know, is the difference in the game. He'd tell you that. You got to make your foul shots. But there is just so much on him. He facilitates so much. He scores so much. People can make the case, well, he's not really a natural point guard. Hey, on this team he is. On this team he most certainly is, because if not him, who else? You know? If not him, who is? And somebody says, well, the Paldo twins are from Jersey. Actually, no, they're not. They're Philly kids. They're from South Jersey, if I can jump in here, having been a part of that area. And South Jersey people are Philadelphia people, so it's the same thing. But they played around the city, in the city, played against all that East Coast competition. But that East Coast swang, trust me on that. If you walked up to those kids and said, where are you from? They'd say, we're Philly kids. It's kind of the way it is. By the way, shout out to Negative, whose father passed away late last week. That's why he hasn't been on here. He did jump in on our post-game show the other night. And he said it brought him some comfort, and we were glad to do that. But here we go. 865-200-5402. If you want to get in the mix and in the hunt, we're going to get as many people in here as humanly possible. Yeah, Tennessee this year, Bino, in hoops, they're a guard short. Next question for you and Brian, then we go to the phones. This is really where I want to park. Who you cheering for tonight and who wins tonight? Bino, who you cheering for?
I'm pulling for Indiana, Tony, and I believe they're going to win.
All right. Bino, Bri, who you cheering for?
I would have throw a skunk in the garden party reference. I would have cheer for Miami.
I'm going to the garden party.
I want to see that game be interesting in the fourth quarter.
You got to please yourself.
But I have nothing against Indiana. I'd be okay with either team.
Learn my lesson well. Can't please everyone. Got to please yourself. You remember Garden Party, Bri, by Rick Nelson?
You didn't like my answer, I take it.
No, it's a garden party. You throw a skunk in the garden party. That's all. I'm just using my associative brain here. I'm associating over here. Do you remember the song Garden Party, Bri, where he talked about Madison Square Garden?
I think so.
Bino, you ever heard that tune?
Ricky Nelson, absolutely.
They went out there to see, they thought they were seeing Ricky Nelson. And he came out there with his band and he played a bunch of rock songs and country rock and stuff, you know. And they booed the hell out of him. So he got off stage and wrote that song. He went to a garden party. Read the words. It's very, very haunting. And then he blew himself up freebasing in the cabin of an airplane when freebasing was a thing and blew the plane right out of the sky, I think is the story. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. And we'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Let's get our first call in on this Monday. Hi, welcome in. Bino Jeff's in transit. Some Bino Jeff's better than no Bino Jeff. Hi, you're on the air.
Hey, Tony, it's Steve and Jasper.
Hey, Jasper, Steve, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, I've got an interesting stat here for you.
Hit it.
Tennessee shares a spot with 6 other schools in Division I: Stetson, Weber State, Buffalo, Southern Indiana, Davidson, and Anthony's Penn Quakers.
All right.
One of the only 7 schools with what Ken Palm calls a 2-foul participation rate less than 1%. And what Ken Palm has done is they've taken the total number of minutes and seconds that every player in Division I has had 2 fouls in the first half.
Yep.
And aggregated all of that. Tennessee's had players have 136 minutes and 35 seconds with 2 fouls in the first half. And they've played players 1 minute and 16 seconds who had 2 fouls in the first half.
You're a graduate of the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania. Give me those 7 teams again. The Vols. Stetson, the Mad Hatters. Bri, see if you can name these teams. Go ahead.
Weber State.
Bri, what's Weber State's nickname?
Is it some kind of a cat?
I think they're the Bobcats, but go ahead, continue.
Buffalo,
what are they?
That's the Buffalo Bulls.
All right, Buffalo Sabres. All right, continue.
Southern Indiana.
Who are they, Bri?
That's the Bruce Pearls.
The Salukis? Continue.
No, that's Southern Illinois.
All right, continue.
Davidson.
They're the Wildcats.
Davidson Wildcats. All right.
And the Penn Quakers.
God. What?
And
can I ask you a question, Steve? You're a money guy and a business guy and a numbers guy, right? Ultimately, what is our head coach doing?
Well, interesting. I'm looking at this list.
Right.
Patino's right down there with him.
Yeah, they're old school, no question.
Yeah, St. John's is right there with them. But my strategy, if I were the coach of the other team, what do? You say, okay, we're going to get 2 fouls on Gillespie as quick as possible, whatever it takes. Put him on the bench or whatever other player it is. That because they're going to go to the bench. I sat up there at Nashville last year, and I just now looked it up to get the exact stats and watched Tennessee go from a 6-point lead to a 4-point deficit at the end of the first half with Ziegler sitting on the bench for 7 minutes. Cost them 10 points, and they lost by 1.
Dumb. Bino, how about not only did he put him on the bench, Bino, But he put Boswell on the bench, too. He had them all both off the floor for 5 minutes. Bino, he had your guy in the game. Your guy from Israel, who, God bless, Bino, could he start at Spurgeon Chapel right now over in the church league?
No. He'd have to come to Central Baptist to play with me, Tony. Bless his heart. How many players do you think there are better than him between here and Israel?
That's horrendous. But to answer your question, since we're in the numerical portion of the show, I'd say 154,327.5. Steve, can you believe that Barnes sat there and let that happen Saturday and put that team right back in the game? It should have been 25 at halftime.
Everybody has a blind spot.
Everybody.
And that's his. Mm-hmm. And it's so frustrating. I sat down at Georgia 2 years ago and watched him. I think it was Meshack, and I don't know who it was.
Yep.
Maybe it was Vescovi. Sat on the bench most of the first half.
Yep.
Let Georgia hang around a team. If they do this, and they ended up winning that game, if they do that, next Tuesday night at Athens, they'll get beat by 25.
Oh, he's going to do it again. Oh, no. Hey, Bino, is that the last time Gillespie gets 2 fouls and sits immediately? And they go into a funk?
No, I just think that's something that Barnes is going to continue to do. I think he's way too rigid in doing it, too. I mean, if what we've seen occur based on that plan hasn't altered his thinking on it, it's not going to be altered. Because we've seen this happen time and time again.
And Steve said, the one thing about that, if you brought that to Barnes, the Vols, the Stetson Hatters, Weber State, Buffalo, Southern Indiana, Davidson, Penn, those are all winners. Those are all winning basketball teams. Every single one of those teams sucks.
Steph Curry?
Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it, man. Keep doing it.
Hey, who do you think in the SEC has the highest? Number 8 in the country.
Highest two-foul participation rate.
I'll say Alabama.
No.
I was going to go Kentucky.
No, it's Florida, 57%.
Wow. Give me some SEC schools with that.
Okay.
Florida's number 1, 57%.
8. Missouri is second in the SEC at 48%.
Mizzou, 48.
And I'm just having to read down a list because it's a list of all the Kentucky is 37%. They're third.
Not a bad choice by me. All right.
Yep.
Kentucky,
and
38.
Let's see. It's going down. Auburn, 33%.
Auburn, 33. And what's our number?
0.9.
You don't think he's committed to the bit, do you? The Vols are 0. Now mark the tape here, y'all. 0.9%. Beanstar doesn't get any better than that, does it? Does it get any better than that, Bino?
That might be a little too rigid, boy.
I mean, you talk about a guy that has it a part of his dogma that this is the way it's going to be. That's what we call dogma, where I come from. Goodness gracious.
Yeah. So anyway, it's frustrating, but I'm glad. I'm glad he's there.
I love him. He's a great coach. He's a great coach, but nobody's perfect. Isn't that goes to show you, Steve? Right?
No, nobody's perfect.
Nobody.
And that's it's just so frustrating.
Well, hey, Steve, if you looked long and hard, right, you could probably find some things about me that annoy you.
Man, I'd have to look a long time, Tony.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, because I'm one of the best that's ever done this. But I'm sure if you look long and hard, you'd probably find some things about me that, run all over you. That 2-foul participation thing, 0.9%. Up there with Stetson, Weber State, Buffalo, Southern Indiana, Davidson, and Penn is pretty wretched. Want my opinion. I forgot to ask Steve who he was cheering for tonight. Who he thinks is going to win and who you cheering for. That's a topic we're going to discuss here. I really, really, really want that Indiana team to win it. You know why? Some of you are jealous of them, and that's okay. I get it. And they're kind of annoying, and I get it. They prove to me that anybody can do it. This NIL thing feels pretty restrictive to us because our ADs called the cops on our party. It's like Timothy McGee just super chatted in here. Hey, Tony, I'm sure you remember the song. You can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find you get what you need. And that speaks to recruiting. How about the Vols going north of 20 guys right now, Bino, in the portal? Was that on your Cinco card, Bino?
It was not, Tony.
I thought they'd go 12 to 15 guys. They've shown some serious urgency, and I don't know that they're done yet. But I saw...
They obviously had a plan for everything else but quarterback.
Reception.
I've told you before, Tony. I've been real pleased, at the very least, with the sense of urgency that I've seen since the loss to Vandy. I wasn't sure I would see that.
Yep.
The moves have to work. It's not enough to make them; they have to work. But I am happy to see there's a sense of urgency that I was afraid didn't exist.
Well, and as Brian said, which is an astute point, if they would have beaten Vandy, he probably still keeps Tim Banks, and you don't get any defensive players. But you can't always get what you want. Let's go back to the phones. They took the Harge kid, which is a good take. Hey, look, man, if I got to get somebody's brother in here to get him, I'll get him. They did that with the wide receiver, too, from Tulane a couple years ago. If I got to take your brother to take you, I'll take your brother and take you. It's called business. Oh, man. Bino, before we go back to the phones, what'd you make of our AD coming out and saying we're the everything school to the integrity school? Now we're in the integrity period.
I didn't know what to make of that, Tony. I didn't know if he was preparing people for what he thought was not going to be a very good season coming up. I didn't know if he was shielding Josh a little bit for a slow start in the. I don't know what to make of that, Tony. But at least he said out loud what he had been whispering behind the scenes. I don't know how smart it is. The approach certainly isn't right. I don't think when there's no rules to worry about rules.
No, it's totally absurd because then I asked Adam Sparks the other day, which is a great appearance by him. So when are we on probation till 2028? So just tell your fans to hang in there for about 3 more seasons. We'll get back to you. And then we'll be the New York Yankees of this thing. Hey, Bino, when's the last time your Yankees did anything of consequence? He referenced the Yankees. I said you can't always get. This goes out to TB and TN. Tony Basilio annoyances. Eating on the air, number 1. Inability to figure out how to flick off the notifications on your phone. His notifications are constantly going off on the air. That's true. That happens to me. And then 3 silly references to music. You can't always get what you want. Bino, now that I know that...
Cashman, I expect Cashman to come out and say the Yankees were on probation, Tony.
Hey, Brian, now that I know that my musical references annoy that guy, am I going to pound that at him? What do you think, Brian? What are the chances?
I expect to feel like when the show's over that I've been at a concert.
I'm going I'm going to crack that whip. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony B.
Hey, Richard. Welcome in, brother.
Oh, man.
Good. Just sitting here tapping away at this computer, getting a little work done. So didn't have to get out and travel today, but that's always a good thing. You
better get it done if you got to travel, because next week we're getting a huge snowfall.
Yeah, well, yeah, I know, and I was looking at my schedule next week, and I got to travel a little bit. I do have, hey, Bino, I do have a big convention show coming up in Vegas first week in February.
Nice.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes. But I don't really like to gamble a whole lot, Bino, so I'm staying at one of my Hilton properties that doesn't have a casino with it, so I figured that'd be the best place for me.
Richard, the only thing I do in a casino is walk through it to get to the sports book, and I'm a nickel and dimer when I get there, but I love to watch sports in a sports book.
Oh, yeah. I can imagine. I know y'all have a fun time when you go out there for the NCAA opening weekend, so that would definitely be fun, watching all the different basketball games like you're able to do, so that's good. Hey, and talking about it, first of all, real quick, Tony, on basketball Saturday, Bino hit on the point that I brought up Saturday. I think Gillespie is just carrying the weight of this team guard-wise, and he just doesn't have any help on him right now, and all of the pressure, I think, is getting to him. At the end of the game, some of his turnovers were, I think, just more mental because they were horrible turnovers. You're like, what in the world are you looking at when you make those passes? And I just think he's got so much on him because, again, as much as Bishop Boswell is a hard worker, Bishop Boswell is another Dane Brineshaw, really. He's just a hard worker guy, but he's not able to handle the ball. He's not able to take pressure off Gillespie, get the team into an offense, and distribute the ball in the correct places. That's not his game. And then, of course, Barnes is eventually going to have to settle on one of those guys coming off the bench and just ride with them in the mistakes and all. You can't keep flip-flopping those three guys in and out because of mistakes. Eventually, you got to ride with one and see if they can handle it and get better as the year goes on. So I think that's Gillespie's problem. He is our guard to shoot the ball, and he is our guard to handle the ball, and that's a lot to put on one guy. At least ZZ last year had Gainey. He could go out of the game, and Gainey was good enough to run the team and get us into an offense.
Yep.
And we don't have that this year at all. Woefully missing that second guard that can come off the bench and spell and help your team.
The thing I don't understand about Barnes's strategy with this 2-foul thing is, what's the difference if you commit your third foul right before halftime or 2 minutes into the third or 2 minutes into the second half? Well,
yeah.
And by the way, the kid played without committing another foul. Both those guys played and only committed one foul in the second half and 36 minutes between them.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
You just tell Gillespie, look, if a guy gets you on offense, give up the layup. Don't try to block. Don't try to give up two. I need you running this team offensively. Whether you give up a two on the other end or not, because you have two fouls. So, yeah, I mean, I know he had a big lead, and I know that's why he left him out the whole time. And he still had an 11-point lead at halftime. I don't think Barnes thought his team would melt down that way. And I don't think he also thought that we'd give up, almost 50 points in a half. And so it just all came to backfire on him, and every decision was done. And game got away, and just unfortunate. On the quarterback kid, Tony, this is how I worded it on this. This kid is, just like it says, in case of emergency, break glass. That's what this kid is, period. He's not – that's the only role he's going to have on this football team, is to learn, to grow, and then if the two youngsters get hurt, he's your emergency quarterback, and you break glass and you bring him in. He's not coming in to do anything other than back up those two freshmen. And this is where we are. I'm kind of looking at it from this standpoint, Tony. If you couldn't get those couple of elite quarterbacks that we knew we weren't going to play in that money, we tried, we swung, but we weren't going to give these guys $6 million to come here and play football. If there's not another quarterback out there, if you don't think that Bo Prabula guy is a good enough guy to do something going into the playoffs and help you get there and do something in it, you might as well, Tony, with this young football team, which we're going to be very young, very
young football team. Even some of the Penn State guys coming over will be here for 2 years. So with the youth of this team, why not ride with the two young quarterbacks? You're building for the 2027 season anyway. I'd just rather see this team grow and mature to see what, how this young team can go, even with the young quarterbacks, and go. Now, I know some people don't like that. They want to try to compete for a championship every year, but you also have to be a realist in everything as well and look at your team and what do you want to do.
Richard, sight unseen, our opponent's sight unseen. What's the best record we're going to throw up next year in your mind? When you think about how young we are.
Considering so many of the teams we're playing are also playing the portal game, you just don't know how those teams. I mean, LSU, that LSU team could be really good, or they could be a complete meltdown because there's so many personalities thrown together at one time, and there's no foundation. It's just really hard until you see all these teams get on the field. So, realistically, yeah, I think even with young quarterback play, we can push easily for an 8-4 season. There's no reason why we can't, because defense and running game, I think we can help us get there. 8-4, shoot for 9-3, whatever. Yeah, you just have to let these young quarterbacks play.
My feeling is somewhere between 6-6 and 8-4 is my sense of what this team will be.
But don't you agree that this, as young as this team is going to be in so many places, you build for 2027?
If I was the head coach and the athletic director and people involved in that deal, I would have a conversation with my fan base, and I'd be honest with them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we all could, and then we could all say, okay, let's do it. Let's see how this team matures and grows as you work towards the future and your payroll then. So, but it'll be fun.
Thank you, brother.
See you guys.
Good talking to you. Yeah, you can't, when you're charging the money that Danny White's charging, you got to keep up this whole, nobody wants to hear, hey, this is a rebuilding year. Because there is no such thing as a rebuilding year in college football anymore. It's reloading years. There is no such thing as having a program anymore. Josh Heupel's got a program. Whether you like it or not, Richard's right. Now, it might work, it might not. It might be that you develop a few guys and they get picked off your roster by other people who are halves in the deal. I mean, that could happen, especially if Danny White's telling you the truth and you're not coloring outside the lines. What's stopping me from buying, let's say Prolati develops. What's stopping me from buying him off your roster next year? Well, the answer is nothing. So it's an interesting thing when you position yourself that way, because then you set yourself up to get kind of picked apart. But then, if you're honest with your ticket buyer, well, Bino, give me a final thought. Are you departing, Bino, or are you hanging? Are you having so much fun that you're going to hang with us? Which one, Beanstar?
Tony, I am having a bunch of fun, but I do need to jump at the end of the hour.
Go!
But I appreciate you letting me be a part of this. Hope the road noise wasn't too annoying. Josh Heupel has shown, even through this portal approach, that he still is intent on building a program, because a lot of the guys that we've gotten still have 2-3 years eligibility remaining. So he's stayed firm on that, and I hope that works. Kind of goes against the grain of the Indiana and that kind of thing, but I'm glad that he still believes in trying to build a program. So hopefully it works for him.
Bino, thank you. I love you.
Love you guys.
Hey,
Thanks.
be safe. Be safe, my brother.
I will do. Thanks.
Bino the great, Bino Jeff Henderson. Incredible appearance by him, by which all others will be judged the rest of the show. If you want to hunt mix with us, things that tonight's national championship game, who you got? Who you cheering for? The way I look at it, Miami's won several championships. We used to play Florida every year. If we played Florida every year, I would cheer for Miami in this game. We don't play Florida every year. There's no reason for me to cheer for Miami in this game. But a great Miami keeps Florida down. If you look throughout history, that's true. Florida's down times are Miami's up times. I don't know. Is there a cause and effect? I don't know. But if you go back and look at, do the research, it's pretty much how it goes. I want to get into why I want Indiana to win it. And I think Indiana teaches us some lessons. I've named a few here that I've got. And I want you to add to some lessons that Miami's taught us. But the first one, and I want you to think about this as we go to our timeout. The first lesson Miami's taught me is that what you thought you knew about the sport of college football, you better forget, and you better forget it in a hurry. T, what do you mean? Well, think about it. History of your school no longer matters. History of your school versus rivals no longer matters. Vanderbilt taught us that this year. Did you ever dream in a million years that Vanderbilt could come into Neyland Stadium? Vanderbilt could come into Neyland Stadium and beat the absolute dog bleep out of you, beat the brakes off of you, and make you like it. Did you ever think that was possible? They asked the cocky coach at Indiana, who looks like a psycho, on the sideline, who's not everybody's cup of tea, I get it. But they asked that guy, they said, you guys have never won at Penn State before. And he said, yeah. He said, and this team has never played at Penn State. What does that even mean? So give me some lessons that you think Indiana teaches us. I'm cheering for them to win it tonight. And the reason I'm cheering for them to win it is that they show me that it's truly an open sport. It's truly an open sport. And that should, if you're a Tennessee fan, that should be heartening to you. If you're one of these Kentucky basketball fans that cheers for the football team, that should be heartening to you. This thing is truly open to everybody now. But there are some other lessons that go with it. We'll talk about that as we continue. I'm going to ask you all the stuff we've talked about. Is this kid from Colorado going to go on the field for us next year? Staub? Or is he a stopgap? Is he a stopgap? As Richard said. An emergency quarterback. Stopgap. We continue with more on the other side. Shout out to the Chicago Blackhawks emergency goalie over the weekend. A 42-year-old guy was sitting with his family, was at a local Hooters, pounding some beers, eating some wings. Brian, does that sound inviting to you? Sitting at a Hooters, pounding some beers and eating some wings, when he got a text saying, we need you to get down here. We have a flu bug going through our team, and we need you to get here. We might need you to suit up here tonight. So I didn't
know Hooters still existed.
As we continue with more on the other side, Brian Hartman adding pithy comments. Hour 2 after this.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville.
Fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
Score a TD every time with T3 Vodka. T3 is Tennessee's premium vodka, handcrafted with passion, precision, and a whole lot of pride. T3 Vodka is taking the Volunteer State by storm. T3 Vodka, handcrafted in the majesty of the foothills of the Great Smoky Mountains, where quality isn't just a promise, it's a way of life. Filtered 10 times and 80 proof, T3 Vodka delivers a smoothness that's unmatched. This dedication to excellence has already earned T3 Vodka prestigious accolades. T3 is a 5-time gold medal winning vodka and the 2025 SIPS Consumer Choice Award medal winner. Whether you're sipping it neat or on the rocks or mixing up your favorite cocktail, T3 Vodka is your choice for a premium, award-winning experience. Score a T3 TD and ask for T3 Vodka by name at restaurants and wine and liquor stores today. Drink it neat, drink it right, drink T3 Vodka, and score a touchdown every time. T3, Tennessee's premium vodka. Distributed by Athens Distributing Company. Please drink responsibly. When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm gonna hop online and I'm gonna get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Basilio here for Budget Transmissions. TGMD, the great Matt Dixon, took his Ford Escape to budget, and like our gold bullet back in the day, it was a total mess. And now, Matt's back in the game. He's got a new transmission, axle, wheel bearing, both radiator hoses, engine mounts, coolant hoses. I mean, his Ford Escape was about to escape to the junkyard, but he didn't begrudge it. He took it to budget, and now he's on his way back to Omaha. Budget Transmissions, over 30 years in business, conveniently located in Bearden. All extended service contracts are honored. A gold certified Repair Pal member. 865-584-4391. 865-584-4391. Budget Transmissions. Don't begrudge it. Take it to budget.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama Zizi approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and Zizi.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols!
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today. Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Hey there, Basilio crew. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. The holiday season is here, and if your plans include unwrapping your new home, then take advantage of less competition and motivated sellers while others are out fighting over parking spots at the mall. Smart buyers are out snagging deals on great homes, and I'm ready to help. Give me a call, 865-694-5904, or reach out at nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com, and as always, go Vols!
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B.
Luck matters in sports, and I'm not talking about Andrew Luck. Brian was just, we were just shooting it during the break, and Brian brought up a great point about this New England club. Hey, Bri, being lucky is better than being good sometimes, isn't it?
And they got fortunate with their entire schedule. I think it was one of the weakest schedule strengths the team has had since going back to 2007, is what they said.
Yep.
They only had to play 4 games against teams who made the playoffs, and 2 of those games were against the Bills.
Yep.
The other one was against the Steelers, who just barely got in on the last by a miracle missed field goal, and then the Panthers, who were 8-9. They got to face the Chargers, who have a quarterback who's never won a playoff game. He had no line protection. The Texans had a shaky QB, and he was missing his 2 best receivers, and now they get to face Jarrett Stidham.
Yep.
And I think whoever wins the NFC game is going to, if it's the Patriots and whoever comes out of the NFC, I think the Pats all the Pats haters are going to be happy watching that game take place because they're getting hammered either way. Potentially.
You know, I felt so bad for Stroud yesterday because here's a crazy thing about that game. To your point about the Patriots, here's how good Houston's defense is. You turn a ball over 5 times, 4 interceptions in the first half. You're literally a play from taking the lead in the second half late in a football game. That Houston defense is nasty. Nasty. And I mean nasty. That was a great football game. From the standpoint of you had one unit, couldn't get out of their own way, and you had another unit that would not quit coming. I would not sleep on Denver upsetting New England this weekend, to Brian's point. Because Nick Foles taught me this in Philly. When a group of guys are told they can't do something, and that's what's great about sport, you just never know. Now, look, the Stidham guy hasn't started a game, I guess, since New England. And I think he only has 3 starts in his career.
He was drafted by New England to replace Brady.
That's right.
Ironically enough.
Yeah, he was a 4th-round pick.
He?
He was a 4th-round pick. Yeah. But I just think this thing's remarkable. And then you have him getting hurt. Seattle's quarterback's got an oblique injury coming into this week. So the 2 home teams are on their heels. The Rams are so fortunate to be there the way Stafford played yesterday for 3 quarters of that ball game. So fortunate to be there. And I'm going to tell you something. If somebody just put this in the chat, I meant to mention this. This Henry T guy is a damn good NFL player. For a guy that supposedly didn't have all that much speed, as people said about him, somebody forgot to tell him that he functions really well on an NFL field. And I mean really well on an NFL field.
And shout out to Derek Barnett, who's down there in Houston now.
Balling out. Yeah, he's rejuvenated himself because he wasn't much of a player in Philadelphia. Barnett wasn't. Now, those days we used to talk about Barnett and the kid from A&M who's now at with the Browns, and we used to argue back and forth, and there's no question who the better NFL player is. But Barnett was a great college player. Let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402 is the number. The question for you is, well, there's a couple things. This quarterback we got from Colorado, is there any chance they're going to, try to throw him out there and let him play? He's not even a veteran quarterback. He's played 3 games in 3 years or some crazy thing. And Colorado gave him a chance last year, and he just kind of turned the ball over a bunch. Also, shout out to Arian Carter. Somebody asked me last night, so do players like Arian Carter, do they apologize to fans for going in the portal? No, not really. Personally, I'm glad to see the guy come back. And maybe he can make something of himself. You know what I mean?
You take as many good players as you can, and he's a good player. If he wants to come back, no one should have any issue.
Anytime. Unless you're a boot Carter.
Tyler Barron did the same thing, I think.
If you're a boot Carter.
A couple times, I believe.
If you're a boot Carter, I don't want you back. Arian Carter, I'd take him back all day. Guy was playing on 2 bad wheels last year. He had turf toe in both feet. And look, with my back issues, I've been having feet issues for the first time with the nerves and all that stuff. And man, I don't know how a kid goes out there and plays at that level and goes out there with 2 turf toes. That sounds painful. And the guy wasn't coached here. So he's coming back. Maybe he'll be coached here. We'll see. Let's go to the phones. We'll get as many people in here as humanly possible. Hello, and who you cheering for in the night? Who's going to win the game and who you cheering for? 2 questions. Let's go to the phones. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How are my French compatriots doing today?
W. Lynn, welcome in.
Tony, I want to celebrate our national championship for the cheer squad in the football game day division.
Yep. Anytime you got to get your own division, that's a 5 in a row, right?
No, it's the 8th and the first time since 2021. But what I like about it is it's cheering as if you're at a football game.
Oh.
It's not dance and hip-hop and all this.
So they didn't
You're actually having to cheer like you're at a game.
So they didn't bring Sterling Hinton with them is what you're saying.
No, they didn't bring Sterling Hinton.
All right, yelling and screaming. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
So that's the best division. I'm like you. I don't like all those dance divisions.
See, that's me, W. Lynn. You read my mind.
Yeah. Anyhow, second, I'm still pulling for Miami because besides Tennessee and Georgia, Florida is often one of the top states we recruit out of, and we do play them every other year. So I'm pulling for Miami for that reason to hurt Florida.
It does hurt Florida. A hot Miami, no question, hurts Florida. That is a fact. That's a fact of life in the sport.
So that's the only. I mean, Indiana. It'd be fun if they won, I guess, but I just want to hurt Florida all I can.
Yep.
Because we can get more. The Sugar Vols for some reason got more players out of Florida than Georgia on their roster, and that hadn't happened in a while. But we do recruit there.
Yep.
So the third thing is for our basketball team to go 20-11, we have to go 8-5 the last 13 games. Well, 7 of those games are on the road. Do you see us getting in the tournament, say, if we're 18-13?
Yes. A lot of bad teams make the tournament, W. Lynn.
The win over Houston is really going to speak loudly.
Yep. That win over Houston's worth about 4 wins, to Brian's point.
So, if we win at home, that'll give us 6 wins, and that'll get us to 18. I'm not counting any road game as a win.
W. Lynn, this team is dumb with a capital D. No, they're going to have a lot of trouble winning on the road.
And that 2-foul rule, everybody I was watching it with, we were like going, we don't have a real guard on the floor against Kentucky. How can that happen?
He took them both out. You got to love Barnes. Now, you talk about a guy that commits to the bit now. He played 5.5 minutes without those guys. I'm like, and he is very lucky the lead was 11. The only reason that lead was 11 at halftime from 17 to 11 is because Kentucky sucks.
Yeah,
if Kentucky can play, that's like a 5-point game at halftime. And he still would have sat there over there and left him over there. The guy has won a lot of games, but that is just foolish in my book. It's foolhardy.
And another thing, while Gillespie's sitting on the bench seeing everything go to pieces in the first half, that puts more pressure on him the minute the second half starts. So he exerts more energy, and he probably is more worn out at the end of the game because he's sitting there on the bench saying to himself, I can play without getting a third foul, but I'm sitting here completely helpless.
Correct.
And that I think that affects his psyche starting the second half.
Well, I mean, people brought up that he's exhausted. He couldn't have been too exhausted the other day because that was one of his low usage, minutes-wise games of the year. And he was really in the groove when the other thing about it that pissed me off is he was tracking for like a 28, 29, 30-plus point game when they pulled him off the floor. He went off in the first half. That's another reason you don't take him out of the game.
It's like Brian said, he can go out there and, hell, I'll let my guy get a layup, but I'm not going to get my third foul, but anyhow. And as far as the quarterback situation, I'm for Joey, football first, G-Mac and the Frosh. Freshmen are kind of tied for second, and the once endangered Buffalo would be my fourth choice.
Yeah, the kid from Buffalo.
Colorado Buffaloes.
Yeah, you're right. No, the Buffaloes. Bino's Cup had a great line. We need a field general from the South out here, W. Lynn. He wanted me to ask you about that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, that would be nice, yes. We just need some common sense going on sometimes in both basketball and football.
Here's the thing about this team this year. Look, if people say, well, you guys are down on – I'm not down on anybody. I hope G-Mac becomes the greatest player ever. I know they like his ability.
Yeah.
I just know they think he's too thin. And look, I didn't do it, man. I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, and their actions certainly followed that. Certainly followed that they don't think he's capable. They didn't, when they're chasing the shiny objects in the portal, but now they're stuck in the spot. And let's see if the courts pull them out. Let's see if we can see 2 Hail Marys answered. Like that Williams kid last night that backed up to the 45-yard line and threw that ball in the end zone to Komet. That was one of the cool plays I've seen in a long time.
Well, and the other thing is, now that we know we're on double secret probation, which nobody knew about, or took serious, we're going to be hamstrung on trying to get anybody waiting on the Money Changers Commission to make a decision. The rest of the college sports world that takes the top 5 team sports,
top 5,
seriously, are laughing at us.
Oh, no question. Thank you, W. Lynn. That's the thing, and Mike Huguenin's right. If you're going to say the things Danny White said, name names. Name names. Now, I got to give some props here to some people that told me, because I was telling you that I had a couple people at that convention last week among the ADs. But the Big Ten, this Petiti guy who was born in Brooklyn, I was looking at it today, his bio. He was born in Brooklyn. He was Rob Manfred's second in command. He ran the Major League Baseball network for a while. And he's a real horse's patoot. Okay? He is a know-it-all Yankee. I think I saw where he went to Harvard Law School. I mean, he's got to be. And he's dealing with a guy in Sankey who's a career bureaucrat. And he's a career who's come up through the ranks of the SEC, and he's just a bureaucrat. Petitti probably a little smarter than Sankey. No offense to Sankey. Sankey, Sankey was in the spot and got the job. And I'm not saying Sankey's a dumb guy by any stretch of the imagination, but the Petitti guy knows damn right well that year in and year out, even though the SEC has been diminished in recent years, and it looks like we're going to have another down year this year, but who knows what the Big Ten has? I can only speak to what's in front of me. And I'm asking myself the following, and this might be true of all these schools, right? But I'm asking myself, who's better next year in our league? Well, Texas is probably better. They get everybody back. I mean, they should be better. And it looks like they address their offensive line issues, but do they gel? I don't know. But it looks like they're better. Texas A&M looks like they're fortified and ready to go. Another run at it, but they're Texas A&M. They'll find a way to screw it up. Alabama's certainly not better, not by a long shot. Although, I mean, he's got some young kids there. He's recruited really well. Are they better? I mean, it doesn't look like it, but who knows? We're certainly not better. Georgia doesn't look like they're going to be better, but who knows? A bunch of teams in this league that were there could slip. And I think LSU's got, like Richard said, they're either boom or bust, and they could train wreck here. But Lane Kiffin's proven he's pretty good at it, so I don't think the league is going to be tremendous next year. I think it's going to be more of what we just saw this season. This Petitti guy wants 24 teams because he knows his league year in and year out is going to be 2 or 3 good teams and then a bunch of mid. A bunch of Kentucky basketball this season. A bunch of Kentucky basketball in the last 8 years, really. A bunch of mid. And if you're a Kentucky fan, you listen to him, you don't think I'm being gracious toward you, I'm sorry. I ain't here to kiss your boots or anything else. Yeah, you've won 6 or 7 in our building and hoops, but you're a mid program. You're mid. You spend major money to get your mid results, but it is what it is. This Petitti thing is really curious. Personally, I hope they stay at 12. Every other league, the administrators want to go to 16. So now Petitti's got to just dig in his heels and wait on the SEC to say, Uncle, if I'm the SEC, there's no way I agree to 24, ever. Ever. Brian, would you want to see a 2014 playoff in that sport? Because I will ask anybody listening, what would the point be of playing your season? Because in 1AA, teams with 8-4 records get into the playoffs in 1AA. How do I know? I follow it.
The NC State Minnesota first round matchup's going to hit like crack.
Mm-hmm. You talk about a first round game that's going to slap, man. Seeing Indiana and row your boat squaring off, that's going to slap. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Hey guys, Josh Board.
Wings.
So, who I'm cheering for and who I want to win tonight?
Yep.
Tony, I'm cheering for Indiana, and I think Indiana is going to win the game.
All right. Why are we rooting for Indiana?
Because you know I'm a big Signetti guy, Tone.
There you go.
Yep.
It's reason enough. Signetti has shown me, and I'm going to blog on this tomorrow. I'm going to write a little essay. Signetti has shown me what Indiana's proven to me is that star rankings don't matter.
He kind of looks like Tom Arnold.
He looks like Tom
Signetti.
Arnold. It looks like a demented Tom Arnold even. That's a pretty good pull by you. And everything you thought you knew about the history of college football, the history does not matter. Does not matter. Your team now is simply a shell that you put out on the field. It is the uniform they're wearing. It has nothing to do with the history of the school. Nothing.
Yep. Tone, how stupid was that by Buffalo firing Sean McDermott?
I kind of thought they were going to do that. At some point, you get to a point where you've had your point and you're stuck at that point. I kind of thought they were going to do that.
Just because they have not made the Super Bowl.
Pittsburgh Steelers should have fired their head coach a long time ago. At some point, you have to have
you can't because of the Rooney Rule.
At some point, you have to have the expectation that you're going to get there. And when you don't get there, you have to make a move. Now, it might be that they never get back to this point again, or it might be that they will have made the right move like the Eagles did when they came off Dougie Peterson after winning a world championship, and the Eagles are stronger now than they ever were.
Yeah. So February 10th is when we should hear something about Joey's what's going to happen.
Well, that's the hearing. It doesn't necessarily mean that's
the hearing.
Yeah, because the judge could come to that hearing and go, "Hey guys, I'm busy over here," like he did this last time.
Yeah, I have a really good feeling that he's going to rule in Joey's favor for 6 years. That's just me. I feel really good about it.
Does Joey now does he enroll in classes, Brian, and wait till then? Or does he need to enroll in classes, or does he just come in the summer? How do we do this?
Well, Carson Beck obviously wasn't enrolled in classes for 2 years. So
that's what he said.
Maybe he doesn't need to.
Carson Beck said, I haven't gone to school for 2 years. He just said it at the press conference the other day.
Yeah.
You think he was serious, Joshy boy?
I don't know. I think he was maybe committing to the bit a little bit.
Yep.
So, Tony, I talked to the great Columbus Saturday after the game, and I told him, I don't think this team's making the tournament after the Kentucky game Saturday. And he's like, you're crazy, Josh. They're going to make the tournament. You want to bet on that?
Yeah, he's
and I told Mark, this team's not good.
No, he's right. Everybody makes the tournament. The Vols have already made the tournament. All you got to do is win 17 games and you make the tournament. You got to go back, Josh, and look at some of the teams. I mean, what do the Vols have? How many wins do we have right now?
What is it, 12, 13?
12? I think they're 12 and 6.
Okay. 5 more wins, Josh. You're in the tournament.
5 more wins.
Yeah. So come on, Josh. They could crash and burn and
win.
They could crash and burn and win 17 games.
Well, I made my point to Mark, Tony. This team's not good. What are we getting a participation trophy for making the tournament?
Well, you said not to make the tournament. I mean,
we're not doing anything in the tournament.
I didn't say you said make the tournament. I don't know that we're doing anything in the tournament. I don't know that we're not doing. Look, here's the thing about the tournament. It's the most random thing in the world. Always has been.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I can't figure out how this school has figured out a way in the modern era, drawing 20+ thousand people per game, which is what they draw, and have for years. Top 10 in attendance, got a great NIL program, got incredible facilities. They figured out a way to never make the Final Four here. And you got to hand it to this school.
And you're right, it's a high-variance tournament.
Yep.
So, with that being said, Tone, with our remaining schedule, how many more SEC wins do you see on the schedule? Because I see about 4 or 5 more.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how this team grows and gels. I'll tell you this. The next 2 road games are going to be a real stiff test for this team unless they come out one night and get on a shooting heater. Because other than that, I don't see a path to victory. They just are not a smart basketball team. They're not instinctive, and I don't know if you can get more instinctive. We'll see if, to me, I would initiate more offense through Nate Ament. I'd give him the ball at the top of the key and let him go. That's one change I'd make, and I would get the true freshman off guard acclimated this week, and I'd start using him. This Boswell playing 28 minutes, scoring 4 points. I know people love him, and he's a fun mascot. That's not a 2-guard. That's not a big league 2-guard. Scoring 4 points in 28 minutes.
Hey, Tone.
Yo.
Out the door, Kurt Signetti is walking into the stadium before the game. He sees a guy in a gorilla suit and he's like, I need that guy on my offensive line because that guy is probably tough as hell. See it.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think there's any question. When Kurt Cignetti looks over and he sees the guy in the gorilla suit, he's going to say, that guy looks like he's the field goal kicker for the Chicago Bears. I'm sorry, the L.A. Rams. The L.A. Rams field goal kicker, every dad bod in America loves that dude. I looked at that man.
He kicked at Missouri, I think.
I looked at that man last night. He kicked in the USFL, Bri, for Birmingham, too.
I think I saw him. He hit like a 61-yarder at Missouri one year to win the game.
Let's freaking go, Bri.
He's the Jared Lorenzen of kickers.
He is the dad. He's got a dad bod for days. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
How did every Bears game manage to turn out the exact same way every week?
Every weekend. Every weekend. Every freaking weekend.
Every game comes down to the last play. Every single game they played this year, they came down to the very last play. Stupid. It's insane.
That play,
it was fun, though. That was an awesome game.
Hey, Lee, that play that Williams made when he backed all the way back to the 45, he goes back like 25 yards, and he somehow gets enough on the ball. What a play.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, I don't know what the DBs were doing on the back end there.
Bad.
Yeah. It may have been Byron Young. I can't remember, but he was chasing Williams, and when he threw the ball, he never turned around. He just stood there, and he started watching on the opposite end on the Jumbotron, and he saw the catch being made, and he was just like, you got to be kidding me. Like, yeah, that's the script writers in Roger Ball, man. They know what they're doing. They're good at it.
But the Bears in true Chicago fashion, all my Cub fans and Bears fans out there know exactly what I'm talking about. They were going to go down. All they needed was about 15 more yards, and they were getting ready to kick that field goal, and that was going to be a storybook ending, my friend, but not in Chicago.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had a hell of a year. That team could have easily, finished. I mean, to win all those close games, they could have easily finished 6-12.
Here's a question, though, right?
The other way.
Here's a question. Who are they? I was watching Chicago. I was watching some post-game stuff on YouTube last night from Chicago, and they were like, we're going to be right back in this spot next year. We're going to do it again. I don't know that they're going to be back in that spot. When you win that many close games in the NFL, there's no guarantee. That's how that league is. You could easily be 6-12 or 6-11 next year if you're the Bears. I hate to say that.
Yeah, ask the Chiefs. They lost every one possession game they were in this year.
That's the reality.
That's how it happens.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. Brian made a good point about the Patriots too, man. Aside from just the schedule they played, which was a joke. If you look at the quarterbacks they actually beat this year, it's the most insane list of quarterbacks that they actually beat. They did beat Josh Allen one time, but aside from that,
yes.
It's they beat Spencer Rattler, Cam Ward, Dylan Gabriel, Michael Penix, Brady Cook, Justin Fields, Joe Flacco, Jackson Dart. They get the Texans yesterday who were missing their RB1, their wide receiver one, their tight end one, their right guard one, their right tackle one, all in the second half of that game. The Texans didn't have anything left.
And
now they get to go to Denver and play Jarrett Stidham.
And how wild is it that New England's so pedestrian offensively, which they are, that, and I realize it's not the best conditions in the world, but they're so pedestrian offensively that late into the third and into the fourth, that is still very much a football game, though your opponents turn the ball over 5 times with all those injuries.
Oh, the Texans were in it. I mean, they had a chance to walk out of there with a win. Yeah.
With 5 turnovers in an NFL playoff game. The statistical probability, when you put that into a computer, that's got to be 0.5% turning the ball over 5 times in somebody's building and still winning.
Yeah, these playoffs have been insane. They've been fun to watch. Mm-hmm. It's hard. Is what it is. I don't know how good these. Who knows about Jarrett Stidham? Guys have played in 3 years.
No, I don't know how you would. I don't know how you would talk about trying to get an edge in that game or gamble on that game. I mean, the variance and the what can happen in this game on Sunday is crazy.
We have no idea, like, what the difference is in Bo Nix to Jarrett Stidham. We have no idea. Like, is it 2 points? Is it 4 points?
Yeah.
Like, he may be a corpse. It may be worth 12 points. I have no idea.
We're betting on raindrops at that point.
But, yeah, speaking of betting, so you want me to call here? So I did take Miami tonight. I mean, obviously with, the idea that I've had a pretty lousy college football season. So, but...
You got in a heater. Bino told me you made him money when he was up. I said, Bino, what'd you do? He said, I'm up like $100. I'm like, you? He goes, yeah, Lee got on a heater, man. I just tailed him.
Yeah, I sent him everything for Saturday. Saturday was great. Like, it was one of those days like they don't come around very often where it's like you hit everything that you play. And yeah, it was a really good weekend. Bino picked a good weekend to go up there and tell me. So, yeah, I'm glad for Bino. I'm glad he was able to make some money. But yeah, college basketball was good. But yeah, I mean, I took Miami. And at the end of last week, I was like, I'm not going to fade Indiana. I'm not going to bet Mario Cristobal against Signetti. That would be stupid. But after a few days of like backing off and looking at it, like, I can't get to this number. I think this number is insane. Like 8.5 points is kind of crazy, man. I think.
In a playoff game? At some point, the Indiana kids, Lee, they've got to quit playing so efficiently. Their level of efficiency through this season, it's got to be unparalleled, right?
It is, man. Like, this playoff run, like, every pass is on the money. Like, every contested catch is caught by Indiana. They don't drop anything.
No drops.
Like, every time even on a fumble, if the ball hits the ground, it winds up in Indiana's hands. Like, everything. And if that happens again tonight, they'll roll.
They'll kill that team. That's right. Yeah. That's right. I agree with you. At some point, they have got to come down to earth. They've got to.
And if you look at the games like they've had versus similar teams to Miami that have like elite defenses, the 3 games that they played against similar teams with those defenses are Penn State, Iowa, and Ohio State. In all of those games, they could have easily lost all 3 of those games.
Yep.
I mean, those were coin flip games at the end.
Yep.
I just think this game plays out a lot more similarly to those 3 games than the last 2 playoff games versus Oregon and Alabama. I think we all kind of understand now that Alabama probably shouldn't have been in the playoffs. Like that was a pretty dreadful team. That was pretty wounded going in there.
Yes.
And they turned the ball over twice early, and then it's just a snowball effect. And the same thing happened with Oregon. Like, pick 6 on the first play, you turn the ball over in the first quarter a couple times, and Indiana's going to make you pay. And if Miami does that tonight, the same thing will likely happen. But I'm not going to bet on that. I'm going to bet on this just being too many points. I think Indiana, they likely win the game, but this is kind of a crazy number, man. 8.5. Miami. The Miami at the lines of scrimmage are just so damn good. Like, that offensive line is just insanely good. And
you think Signetti comes out and goes fast tonight in light of that?
I don't think so. They haven't played like that all year. These are 2 of the slowest teams in college football. Both of them operating.
I wonder if they learned from the Ohio State game and try to. That's one of their little wrinkles here, and they try to go a little fast early on to keep the heat on those ends, get them tired.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I mean, Indiana's gonna have a great game plan. I mean, they're gonna have them scouted. They're gonna have a great game plan. For sure.
Yeah,
but. That offensive line for Miami, I think they can end up playing ball control here and win the time of possession and just get behind that big offensive line and sort of play rugby all night.
Yep.
Even if they're only getting 3 yards of carry, I think they can keep Indiana off the field and keep this sort of close.
The problem is
those lines of scrimmage are just too good.
The problem is if the game's close, you have a literal brain donor over there on that Miami sideline.
Yep. I mean, trust me, the worrisome part is obviously the coaching mismatch here.
Yep.
Like, I'm not immune. Yeah, it's a massive coaching mismatch, and the penalties. Like, Miami's prone to penalties, and Indiana doesn't make them. But that's why I'm getting 8.5 points, I guess. But
thank you, my man.
Carson Beck's been good.
Oh, he's been very good.
So hopefully he can be decent one more night for me. Like I said, I've had a bad season in college football, so don't let me persuade anybody. If you think Indiana's going to roll, like, bet your gut.
Well, it's a lot of points in a championship game, though, to your point. When's the last time we've had a spread like that in a national title game?
Well, I'll just say this when I jump off. So a lot of people were making...
Was it the TCU game?
I've heard a lot of...
Yeah, go ahead, Lee.
Yeah. So I've heard a lot of comparisons about the 2019 LSU 2020 Bama, like this Indiana team to them.
No.
Where, like, the market just can't catch up to how good they are, so
Right.
they keep inflating the numbers and they keep covering them. I don't think this Indiana is at that level. Like I said, those two teams were covering ridiculous spreads every single week.
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case with this Indiana team. Like, yeah, their power rating is higher than it was to start the season, but it wasn't like they were blowing through spreads like this every single week.
Right.
So I don't think that this team is on par with those two teams. I don't think. Maybe they are. Maybe they are that good. But it's a pretty hefty price, I think. I mean, the look ahead on this last week was like 3.5 points, or before the semifinals. So we'll see.
And the other thing you got going for you here is that this public sentiment and everybody's hammer playing in Indiana, at some point you just go the other way to go the other way. You're like I am in life. You're a contrarian. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, the books are going to need Miami, so that makes me feel a little bit better being on their side. It doesn't always work out like that.
No.
Like, that's not a way to handicap games, but it's
risk,
not a
though.
bad side to be on if you're on the book side, yeah.
Thank you, Lee. Because the fact of the matter is, the books in Vegas aren't as big as they are because they're pushing a lot of money back across the table to those that gamble. Go ahead, Brian.
One thing about Miami is they are 3-0 as an underdog this season, including the first 2 playoff games.
Wow.
And their win against Notre Dame.
And this reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, you want to bet on the game and get in the game while you're in the game tonight. $20 bet. Get $100 in bonus bets instantly. The phrase that pays and the promo code is TNTony. And a great place. Just go over and enjoy yourself. Buddy of mine bet like 20 on the Vols here. I tried to talk him out of it. I talked about this on our Garza Law Tennessee basketball overtime, but he jumped over on VIP play and put 20 down, and he was trying to have some fun. And I asked him if it was fun. He said, yeah, it was kind of fun. He said, till it wasn't. Till they took everybody out with 2 fouls. Because if they didn't, he would have won his bet rather easily. But live always, 200-plus leagues, numerous bet types, props, options. And tonight they're doing some special stuff with the national championship game. Go check it out. But, again, get in the game while you're in the game tonight with VIP play where everybody gets treated like a VIP. And if you have a gambling problem, 800-889-9789, 21 and over, located in the great state of Tennessee to place a bet. And we're going to get back to our phones and probably get to some overtime. Now, here's the thing. Let me look at our likes over on YouTube, because the other day with the post-game show, okay, we're at 111 likes right now. We have like close to 300 people watching it just on YouTube alone. Several thousand people consuming the show in their own way, whether it's through the radio, whether it's with our friends at Fan Run Radio, where William Patterson's on the way next. I'll do an overtime segment. If I can get to 200 likes, I'll stay on longer than I was going to. If I don't get to 200 likes, I'm getting out of here pretty quickly. And as I said on the post-game show the other day, don't believe me, just watch. People thought I was kidding, and I got right off the air. And I got work to do today. Love your show. More after this. Are you currently a residential electrician? Would you like more benefits, better pay, more upside? What about a $3,000 signing bonus? Free company-paid health insurance, annual profit share, company vehicle, gas card, much more. Call Advent Electric today. Advent, known for their large commercial jobs around town, and due to high demand, they're adding additional roles for their residential department. Maybe you know a friend, family member that's a residential electrician. Spread the word. Email hr@adventelectric.com. hr@adventelectric.com. 865-588-0631 and ask for the Tony B 3K signing bonus. Advent Electric is hiring. You got to dream about buying some land and building on that land. Well, Waterside Contracting is your ticket. 25 years of making dreams come true, Michael Scott. For hundreds in our area, custom homes or remodels, Waterside Contracting will build on your lot. They do incredible work all over the area. Structural integrity, quality without compromise. It's a way of life with Waterside Contracting. Check out the wonderful work Waterside does. WatersideContractingLLC.com. When it's time for your dreams to come true. Quality without compromising. Waterside Contracting.
college football fans. Chris Fowler here with the play call. This season, go for Dose with ice-cold, refreshing Dos Equis. It's more than a single play. It's a mindset. Think of it as a 2-point conversion for real life. Taking the risk, making the bold move. Whenever we get the chance to go big, we take it. On the field and off, always go for Dose with Dos Equis.
Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis Lager Especial Beer. Imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Tony Basilio along with the great Mark Griffin. And we're here to talk about our friends at Performance Medicine. And Griff, their slogan, stay educated, stay healthy. That's you.
Wow. I really like to think that, Tony, and I'd like to give Dr. Rogers a lot of credit because I definitely want to stay educated and healthy, and knowing that he's putting the time and effort in to make sure of my care, I want to encourage your listeners to put the time to learn and become educated and get to know Dr. Rogers and see if it can help with your health as well.
And there's a really, really easy way to do that. In fact, they've got their own YouTube channel. You can see Dr. Rogers for himself with his staff. It's called The Performance Medicine Show over at the Performance Medicine channel over on YouTube. Also, more information at performancemedicine.net. To our friends in North Knoxville, a brand new location over in Fountain City, now accepting patients. So many ways to reach Dr. Rogers. And like they say, stay educated, stay healthy. Performance Medicine, online, performancemedicine.net.
Located in Knoxville's historic Old City, Barley's offers great food, live music, the best draft beer selection in town, and now your new favorite place to watch sports. Their indoor projector is perfect for any weather, and they've revamped their upstairs area with more TVs to take in all of the action. Their menu features hand-battered chicken tenders, juicy burgers, fresh salads, and the tastiest pizza in Knoxville. You can enjoy their happy hour drink specials daily from open until 6 p.m. Barley's Tap Room and Pizzeria.
The season of giving reminds us of what truly matters, community and connection. Hi there, Jennifer Morris here with Keller Williams Realty. As the year closes, I wanted to take a moment to sincerely thank you, my Basilio family clients. Thank you for trusting me with your most important decisions. Whether it was finding your first home or successfully closing a chapter, your trust means everything. I look forward to new and continued relationships through the new year, and feel free to reach out to me at 865-694-5904 or nextmovesmokymountains.com. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And of course, go Vols.
Basilio here with my buddy, Connexial Kristen.
Hey Tony, good to see ya. Connexial builds fleet technology that helps transportation and logistics companies win big. Live GPS, easy ELD and compliance tools, AI dash cameras, and asset tracking, all backed by the #1 U.S. customer support team. Want a better playbook for your operations? Visit Connexial.com/Tony. That's KONEXIAL.com/Tony. Connexial, built for drivers, trusted by fleets, and proud Vol fans.
Tony Basilio here, and I got the great Chad Stockton of FC Alliance 2026. Chad, do you believe we've made it?
Boys and girls teams start off the new year at big national event showcases. We got our younger kids training indoors and doing a lot of things to get better. So we're excited about what the future holds.
Chad, I hear the juice behind you. I hear the kids. Your program reaches throughout East Tennessee. If folks want to get involved, what's the advice?
We're easy to get in touch with. We offer players at all ages, all levels, all experience. We have a program for all of our kids that we have, and we're excited for anyone to join us.
And even some Lady Vols as well. Several college players all over the country, yes?
Absolutely. We had a lot of girls that we were able to watch play in the NCAA tournament. A lot of our former players made big runs through the tournament. We're so excited for them.
Growing the beautiful game. In this, the year of the World Cup in North America, celebrate the beautiful game. Get your child involved. FCAllianceKnox.org. That's FCAllianceKnox.org. And Chad, thank you, man. Keep growing the beautiful game.
Absolutely, Tony, and thank you very much.
Preparing food for a big gathering can really take it out of you. That's why you need to call Calhoun's and check out their selection of party platters. Whether you're hosting a party for the big game, a reunion, or just an everyday gathering, a Calhoun's party platter is next level. Choose from Calhoun's always excellent chicken tenders, fly with Calhoun's wings, or boneless wings with a variety of dipping sauces, award-winning next-level melt-in-your-mouth barbecue ribs, or delicious spinach artichoke dip, or get one of each. Plus, if you're doing burgers or sandwiches, Calhoun's has lots of side dishes like spinach Maria, baked cinnamon apples, Smoky Mountain baked beans, or creamy coleslaw. Available in pints, quarts, and gallons. And to finish things off, pick up one of Calhoun's great desserts to go, including homemade cheesecake or key lime pie. Calhoun's, simply your go-to party headquarters. With 9 locations all over East Tennessee, you can order online and just pick it up. Calhoun's, one of the Copper Cellar family of restaurants, along with Chesapeake's, Copper Cellar, Corner 16, Cherokee Grill, and Smoky Mountain Brewery. Eat local, eat good.
It's always magnificent. Mondays on the Basilio Show, presented by our friends at Fleet Tire. I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. And now, back to B. I was just sharing with Brian Hartman as I welcome you back, and we're about to get to our overtime segment. As of yet, still unsponsored. Shame on me, letting a month go by. But we've had a lot of other stuff going on. Got a special announcement with the great Willie Heflin coming up here. You know, it's just about baseball season. We were talking a second ago, you know, this Saturday show for me, I love doing the post game. It's fun. Saturday show felt like a real job. And I was in a tough spot because I wanted to rip us. But the point is, we don't play a game tomorrow. And I'm pretty damn glad. I'm working ahead on the blog, and I have an entry tomorrow. And it says, it says absence makes the heart grow fonder, they say. Boy, I sure hope that's true. Because I got to be honest with you, I'm looking forward to a night off away from that basketball team. No offense. I am getting borderline sick of these guys. And it's still January. And it's not so much the winning and the losing, it's the just goofy way they play. Or maybe it is the winning and the losing. I don't know. But I'm on here, getting just inundated. And Matt Jones has done a nice job of building his platform down through the years. And he sicked his sycophants on me. And I don't mind stuff like that. I mix it up with those guys. But I'll be damned if I'm going to sit here and defend something that's indefensible, that pissed me off. When you've lost 6 or 7 times to that Kentucky team in your building, and the loss looked like that Saturday, look, I'll sing for my food. I'll dance for my supper. I'll dance, I'll do whatever you want. I got no problem with that. And I asked our fans, our listeners, I'm like, look, I need this many likes, and they didn't give me that many likes, and I said, I'm getting out of here. William Patterson's on the way next. I'll sit around and take some more calls, though, with you as we talk about it. Hit it, William.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville. Fan Run Radio.
865-200-5402. Bri, should we take into consideration, because Bino's been wanting to do this for years. Mike in Portland mentioned this the other day. Bino's been wanting to do a nightly Lady Vol overtime. Bino says he'll help us with it. Should we do a Lady Vol overtime? Somebody says here in the booth, in light of the way the Lady Vols are taking off. Maybe get like Maria C in here. MC. Switch to Lady Vol overtime.
Well, it certainly would have to be a lot more fun than Saturday.
Would you be hip to the hip talk? Because my feeling would be when do the Lady Vols play again? Maybe we'll do one after the
they play Thursday at 6:30 against Kentucky.
Maybe we can do one Thursday at 8:30 after the Kentucky game and see how it goes. What do you think? Get MC in here and do a and because we've grown tremendously in the baseball space in 2 seasons. And Will Heflin was great last year. We did great numbers with that. Great numbers. Laura and I were just really pleased with it.
Hey, I got an idea. Speaking of which, maybe we can cultivate a former player to come in or somebody who maybe they can do it like Will Heflin has done. He's taken the reins of the baseball. Maybe there's an ex-Lady Vol or former Lady Vol out there that would be glad to step in and hook us up.
Yeah. I think that
like an Ace Clement.
It's a great idea. I ought to reach out to Space Ace. I'm going to see her in the next couple of weeks over at Bradley's. Although she's probably busy with her familia. Although her kids are playing soccer for Joe Kurt over at UT. He tells me they're both very good young players going to get on the field here this next season. Here's an idea somebody had, WCS Radio. Why not get Sterl the Pearl over here for Lady Vol? I don't think we could afford him. He's making big money being Sterl the Pearl in this town.
I think something in your studio would blow up with him screaming so loud.
Yeah, I don't think Mrs. B would like being upstairs when it literally sounds like it would sound like there's a huge thunderstorm down here. His energy and the beating and banging, he might short-circuit everything in here. That might be people's cup of tea. Him yelling and screaming at me during a basketball game that I've already paid way too much money to get into. I mean, no offense to him, but that ain't my cup of tea. That might be your cup of tea, and your cup of tea, and your cup of tea. They ain't my cup of tea. And I'm the only one. I'm the only one with the guts to say it out loud. But I will say it out loud. I don't think the fans, that's their cup of tea. But maybe I'm wrong.
He looks like he could still play. He doesn't look a day over
he looks
30.
Great.
So I respect that.
Yeah, he looks great. But he's 60 years old. But acting like he's 25, which is okay. It's good work if you
That's
can get
what
it.
everybody should aspire to be when they're 60. Be like Sterl the Pearl.
No question.
Have that kind of energy.
Childlike.
Have that kind of glow about you.
Childlike, you know?
Yes.
So yeah. I'm for that. We need a Lady Vol host, Bri. It's a great idea. So why don't we do that? If you want to reach out, commonfan@gmail.com. If you want to nominate somebody that you know, or maybe you want to be our Lady Vol hostess with the mostest. You can't say hostess anymore, can you? Somebody's mentioned Tyler Summit. Tyler Summit's not in the area. I need somebody to come in here. I give the keys to the studio. They walk in. They let themselves in. They turn the equipment on. They turn it off when they're done. But let's go to the phones. All right, let me check my likes here. People think I'm going to get whiny here. I don't want to turn this show into like me being whiny, but the thing about growing this program is, all right, we're at 169 likes. Let's see. You've got till 1:15 Eastern time to get me over 200, or my ass is grass. Hello and welcome in. On our Monday, you're on the air. Welcome in.
Hey, love your show. Just so you know, I did like the program. I went on YouTube and liked it for you. So
thanks.
There's another vote.
I love you, but I love your daughter more.
Thank you, and I'm actually calling on behalf of her. She is a Kentucky
Wildcat. I love her. She's such a good kid.
Yeah, she's tickled pink. She's she's so. I'm following Kentucky sports now, of course, and since my kiddo goes. I'm sure you followed the school where your son went, especially the swimming team. You know, they had a really good swimmer up there, didn't they? At one point, that was swimming on the women's swimming team. But anyway, I digress. It's about Mark Pope.
Well played. Well played, good and faithful servant, you clown.
The fans in Big Blue Nation are interesting. They're a little bit like Tennessee fans, like almost like cousins. But when it comes to coaching,
yep.
Of course, they love their basketball. But let me just tell you, the football coach, Will Stein, I was watching his press conference earlier.
Yep.
That guy is on fire.
That guy's sharp.
He's sharp. I love the fact that he's in his 30s. He's sharp. He is bringing in some studs. And this is a new era in college. We've been talking about that. We hear you talk about it almost every day. But it's true. And Kentucky football, which has always been a cellar dweller, has every right to be the next Indiana at some point. But basketball is obviously their true love. So my question to you is, as a sportsman and someone who follows sports way more than I ever will in my life.
I'm more of a takesman than a sportsman, but go ahead.
And value your insight into sports, because some people like me, we just can't devote our whole lives to sports. But it's nice to check in on it, kind of like the news, so we know what's happening. Mark Pope, can he, in your estimation, is he a good basketball coach? Because I don't know much about sports. I mean, I like sports. I like to take action on sports occasionally. I like to tail people, mainly. But I don't think he's a very good coach. I don't think he inspires. He's not a leader, and I don't think he's the type of coach that Kentucky really needs in basketball. They need someone like a Pitino, someone like a Calipari, someone of that personality type. I mean, Mark Pope is a great guy. He was a great player. He loves the Cats. But anyway, can he coach? Yes or no?
I don't know. I'm not there every day. I think last year he did a really nice job with what they had, and I think this year their roster doesn't fit. Kind of like Pearl's roster doesn't, or Barnes' roster doesn't fit. And the reason I gave the Freudian slip of Pearl there is that Kentucky Nation, Big Blue Nation, a lot of those people are keen on the idea of trying to pull Bruce Pearl out of retirement and appeal to him. And it's funny you'd mention that. Kentucky goes better when they have one of these cult of personality types, when they have one of these bigger-than-life types. You think about Adolph Rupp back in the day, it's a bigger-than-life type. And some of the other runs they've had, Pitino, he's a bigger-than-life type. Calipari, he's sort of you get me and you get the game. I've always thought Bruce Pearl would be interesting up there. And I think this, I think that the one thing about Pope is, and I told a couple Kentucky fans this in the postgame the other night, I love that he loves the program. I love that he values it in an age of mercenaries. I'm not sure he's big enough or good enough for that gig, looking at him.
Right. Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you.
Your thought?
Yeah, there was comparisons to Billy Gillespie. I spent a lot of time in Lexington, and I like to go out to the local establishments there where, you can sit around and talk, about basketball and hear from some of the people who are just entrenched in it. It's even deeper than Tennessee football. I mean, the Kentucky basketball and the history and the legacy there. I mean, it's not like going out and going to a bar here in Knoxville and talking about UT football.
Yep.
I mean, these people, this is deep. This is something that's in your DNA, and a lot of comparisons to Billy Gillespie and the season, is just kind of now, I guess, at the midpoint, right? Almost at the midpoint, and they won 2 in a row now in kind of fluky fashion. I'm just wondering, where you see Kentucky ending up. Do they make the tournament? I know that Ryan said he'd be surprised if Tennessee made the NCAA tournament. I think they're going to make it.
They're both making it. Look, 68 teams get in, man. They're both making it. The question is, and the thing I was asking their fans the other day, because they're dunking on us, and look, so your daughter's been at Kentucky how long?
She's a senior. She's graduating in May.
So I don't know. Brian, has she experienced a loss down here? When's the last time we've beaten them in our building here, Brian? I'm so
It was 4 years ago, the 2022 season.
So I'm not so sure she's experienced a loss in our building.
Was it 22, Brian? Because I think her freshman year, she came down and we went to the game and Kentucky won.
Zakai Ziegler's freshman year, where I think there was one of Kentucky's equipment strength guys nearly tried to start a fight.
That's
or something.
Right. Grabbed him. Tried to grab him. That's right, Brian.
It was a late game. It was like a 9 p.m. start.
That's right, Brian. But to your point, your daughter, I think that was the year. I think the year before she got here, I don't think she's seen a loss in our building. I was thinking about that the other day because his daughter interviewed me for one of her school projects. She is, believe it or not, she is a really sweet gal. very well adjusted, very.
What are you trying to say about her old man? Is that
very emotionally intelligent, very great room reader, just a really old soul. Her father. No offense to him.
She was raised on the Tony Basilio show, okay? I can promise you that.
And Penn Swimming. You're a clown for bringing up Penn Swimming, you clown.
All right. Hey, one more thing, Tony. Baseball season. We're right on the cusp of that, and of course, we're all excited about that. The boys' summer coming back. I mean, these wintertime blues are really, setting in, right?
Oh,
and you said they're calling for snow this weekend.
Like
Is that what you?
A foot on Monday.
That's news to me. Wow, you're breaking news on the show.
Advanced forecast.
I need to tune into some of the local news so I can get the weather report. But wow, that's going to be problematic.
Your brown skin shining in the sun. I was watching that Sony Open from Hawaii the other night just to live vicariously through their sunshine. It would come on late at night, and I'll be watching the French Open this week just to see some good weather. So
Do you have one of those lights, Tony? Do you have one of those lights that people use?
I do. I do.
Oh, okay. How does it work? Do you get any benefit out of that?
Yeah. It seems to work. It's for people that have seasonal what's it called? SAD. Seasonal something disorder. I do have that. The winter's hard for me. The winter was hard on me when I lived in Pennsylvania. Looking back on it as a kid, my moods were very dark and kind of depressed, and part of who I am, man.
Dr. Rogers recommended that I get one. I picked one up on Amazon.
Yeah, they work. Here, I'll look at the brand of my light here, because my light works perfectly. It's called Fit First. I'll show it to the camera if you want to go back and look at it later. But you can turn this thing on. In fact, you just reminded me while I'm sitting down here, I'm going to plug this sucker in and have some fun with it.
Well, baseball season around the corner, and the Vols are looking to make another run, right? Who in the SEC is slated to be in that top upper echelon of baseball teams?
Well, you got LSU.
Yep.
You got Tennessee. You got the Georgias of the world. Vanderbilt's back for more. You know what? Vanderbilt, if we're not careful, Vanderbilt's going to turn into the all-everything deal here.
And I think you've got some ties to Vanderbilt, as do I. And, I was raised on Vanderbilt football and basketball. And I never thought I'd ever see the day when Vanderbilt would crack the top. Oh, they made the top 10, didn't they? At one point, they were ranked 9th this year, or was it, or somewhere close to that? I never thought I'd ever see it. So that's why I'm saying about transitioning back to Kentucky and Will Stein. I mean, if Vanderbilt can do it, and if Indiana can do it,
anybody can do it.
Kentucky can sure as heck do it.
Anybody can do it. Tennessee should be able to do it. Like tomorrow.
Yeah, but you've got Low T Heupel, and Josh Heupel needs to pay a visit to Dr. Tom Rogers. I don't know why someone who knows some of these guys that can kind of whisper in people's ears. I mean, Josh Heupel needs a complete and total makeover. This guy just looks like a total slob. He's a terrible representative of the University of Tennessee.
You are out of here. What in the world? How did we get to that pivot? Goodness.
That took a sudden turn.
I mean, goodness gracious. We're having a good call. I'm complimenting his daughter. He, if anybody can do it, Tennessee can do it. I bring Tennessee up, and he just turns and snaps. Now, I do have my sunlight on for those of you watching. And Mark Pope seems like a sweet guy. He's an easy-to-root-for guy in this era. He was a really cute story last year. As long as he's there, they're not going to win anything. No offense to him. He just, what's the word I'm looking for here? He doesn't have what you call that gravitas.
Well,
he doesn't have that gravitas.
They're going to keep winning in our building. That's the only thing they're going to win. Apparently.
Yep.
Imagine how good we'd have felt if they just had hung on to that game. even if it was close late, but they won it with a week off, we can talk smack to Kentucky fans. We can feel good about our team. Now, we still don't think they're really all that great, but at least we could feel a whole hell of a lot better than we are right now.
Brian,
we'd have a week.
Brian, losing 6 of 7 to them. Tomorrow I'm on
But no, we can't have nice things like that.
I don't want to see this team this week. You talk about somebody said this to me the other day, you know. I was sitting there going, can I get Alex in here Tuesday? Can I get Brian in here? You know, will Matt feel well enough to get in here? Because I was sitting there thinking, you know, can I feign of sickness? Because I was going 6, 7, 6, 7, 6. You know, my whole family went to the Sixers game Friday night, and they did the 6-7 cam, Bri, where the kids stood up and did the 6-7 dance. You ever done it, Bri?
No. Wouldn't be caught dead.
Oh, let's go back to our phones and get our next call in. Hello and
Doing
welcome.
that.
You're on the air.
Tony, behind the wheel, Neil. How you doing, buddy?
Hey, Neil. Welcome in, brother.
You doing all right?
One of the great benefactors of our tailgate for the kids at this year, which will happen over the Kennesaw State game. If you guys are still in, man, you guys letting those kids have that experience every year and underwriting that is beyond me, brother. I love you.
Hey, bro. As long as you do it, we're going to do it.
Praise
we talked
God,
about that
man.
before, so we're in. Thanks for telling me what game it is. We'll start looking into it. It's an awesome thing you do, man. So
Praise God, my
we're
brother.
just happy to be a part of it. I'm so thankful that you do it. So
Praise
it's
God.
great.
Thank you.
Hey, so as far as the game tonight, it's actually a pretty interesting question as to who you're cheering for from our perspective. Yeah, because you know, I'm kind of thinking of this as, okay, what is there a lesson to teach our athletic program here? Because I really want to cheer for Indiana because of what you said. That proves that stars doesn't matter. It proves that what's Signetti say? Production over potential, and as long as you evaluate correctly, then you can do it. But I think I have to cheer for Miami because there's too many question marks around our evals, you know, especially at quarterback. And then I guess we'll see what happens on the defense. But I mean, like at some point with our situation within the landscape of college football, I mean, are we able to evaluate and get people, you know, on a little bit less of a discount, or do we just have to go for broke and pay for it like Miami does? So, I mean, I think I'm going to have to cheer for Miami just because I don't know if our guys have any, you know, ears to hear on this, but I mean, we got to start paying some dudes, man. If we're gonna go, we have the money. So if we're gonna go, we got to go.
What did you make of the athletic director saying what he said the other day?
I think it's an excuse.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think there's no. I think the reason that he didn't name names is because we're not cheating.
I agree with that. I agree.
I mean,
I agree 5,000% with what you just said.
Because if he
Tennessee's
really
still
was
doing it.
Sterling Gold, pure as the driven snow,
That's
then he
right.
would have said it.
He would have
But
named
he
names.
can't say that. If he does say that, then he's just opening himself up to get absolutely hammered.
Everybody.
And so I think he's making excuses for his boys.
I think that's right. I think that's an accurate read on it. And I think it sounds like sour grapes when you look at it. And if you were a fan of another school, you'd say, oh, that Tennessee thing's a joke. Look what that athletic director just said. Because quite frankly, he's the only one. Nobody else is saying that. It is laughable.
I think that's what's frustrating for us is it's laughable. Obviously, price of tickets and all the things. I mean, you're pricing people out, and then we're just going to say, well, actually, we're following by. I think it's an excuse. I think he's just trying to guard against the situation personally. So I mean, I think I'm going for Miami because I really want us to
be pushed
to get back in the gray, get back in the game. And I don't know if this teaches us anything, but we just have no dog in this fight. I mean, you can go secondhand smoke and try to hurt Florida, but nobody really cares about that right now.
I'm looking at Heupel's perspective, and I'm looking at his kind of recruiting ability and just his flash out there. Tennessee's got to overpay or they're not going to get guys. It's just the way it is. Kurt Signetti on the other hand, is getting market discounts on bigger names now. And we'll see if that continues for him. If, because every once in a while you're going to put a team together and it's not going to work. But they're so well coached. They don't hurt themselves. They don't commit penalties. They don't do silly things on the field. They remind me so much of those really good Saban teams, except Saban was doing it with 4- and 5-star players and a 3-star player every once in a while. This guy's doing it with 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, no stars, a few 4 stars, and 0 5 stars. It just seems impossible what they've done here. Just impossible.
The good thing is, if you're scraping for positives here, I mean, we have the dough.
We have the money.
It's not.
Sure.
It's not like we're somebody who's on the outside looking in, and we're there's nothing we can, like Bama.
Right.
I mean, we have the dough, so we just really need to bow our neck and go do it.
And what doesn't Neil, what doesn't make sense to me is the athletic director coming out and saying that is just such a mixed message, because in one hand they're telling folks like you that invest heavily in the program, hey, we have this talent fee and, we're going to tack this on. And because the context by which he did that interview with Adam, as Adam told us, was they were supposed to take a victory lap for their $70 million surplus in football. That was supposed to be a victory lap by the athletic director, and he turned it into a woe is me deal. And I just think that's and look, I'm not speaking for every fan, but from my ears, it was very confusing. Now, it confirmed what I had reported, which is what his people were telling big money people that were calling over there, his lieutenants. Because, of course, you can't get Danny. Danny's like the Queen of England. He's walled off in Buckingham Palace somewhere. But the lieutenants were all told to say, hey, we're on probation. Well, Adam Sparks says we're on the probation till 2028. Are we going to wait till 2028, Neil? And do you think people are going to be that patient here till 2028?
No, I don't. And I mean, that's what you're really gambling there. I mean, it's like NFL owners. There's some NFL owners that really want to win. And there's some NFL owners that just want to get checks.
Yep.
And make dough.
Yep.
And, like Kansas City wants to win.
Yes.
Buffalo wants to win.
Yes.
Steelers want to win.
Yes.
And then there's other places that, they're fine with the Cowboys. They just want to turn it into Disney World over there.
All.
And that's kind of what it seems like that he's trying to do.
Yep.
Just to pad the financials, pad the paper.
Yep.
But not, I think it's a huge miss, man. If you win, everything else takes care of itself.
Especially in football. If you win. Here's the thing, Danny White's, the spot he's in right now, Rick Barnes, sooner or later is going to walk off that campus, and it might be this year, who knows. Now, Barnes has been agitating behind the scenes the last 4 years, telling people this could be my last. He's always given that indication, and you always hear these rumors this time of the year. But, boy, if any team's going to drive you to quit coaching, it could be this one. No offense to this group of guys, but they've got that look about them. Now, I don't buy that Barnes is quitting. I don't buy that. But he could. And if he does, all of a sudden that puts Danny White on the clock a little more. Danny had it really good there for a while. He inherited Barnes. He inherited Tony Vitello. He is, some of his hires have been kind of mid, some of them okay. But all of a sudden, the football thing, I didn't feel like it's in crisis mode, but this coming season, they've kind of chosen, how do we put this, Neil? They've kind of chosen not to wave the white flag, but the quarterback deal, how you go from the number 2 guy in the class to number 112 is really odd, man. And then in light of his quotes, the whole thing is just really strange. Not what I had in mind.
No, it's making excuses for your kid striking out. Mm-hmm. Is basically what it is. Mm-hmm. On the hoop side, man, it's super frustrating for sure. I don't know if our fan base generally does this. I know I still kind of do, even though I try not to. But we kind of hang on to each one of these really hard, kind of like football. But the reality is what you said. It's a tournament sport, man. it really doesn't matter.
No.
Just get to March and go on a run. Why we haven't gone on a run, I don't know. Is the writing on the wall for us? I mean, it sure does feel like that.
Yep.
But all you got to do is put it together for 3 games.
3 games.
Easier said than done, obviously. But again, scraping, just really trying to find some positives. Half glass is full here. I mean, but it's that 17-point lead to lose like that was absolutely brutal. I mean, just brutal.
Yep.
So, but I'm looking forward to football season. Look forward to Kennesaw State. I'll be in touch with you on that, man. Let's keep doing that. They're bigger fish to fry. So.
Thank you, brother. Good talking to you. Yeah, and touching and reaching those kids through sport each year is certainly bigger than. It's my favorite day of the year. And Amachi Brook is so great. That Amachi program, when you're talking about mentoring kids and breaking that cycle, which they've been able to do in some cases, not all cases, but in some cases. And you're talking about people pouring themselves into the lives of kids and giving them a day where you treat them and giving the kids a day for everything they've been through. These are kids that have one or both parents who are incarcerated. And it's a mentoring program. And it's a miraculous and a beautiful thing. It's and you all make it possible. Now it's going to be a challenge for us this next season because it's early in the year. And Tennessee might be undefeated when we're asking you for those tickets. And we're going to have to start asking for them a little earlier in the summer. And we're going to need you to help us. So, Sam says it makes a lot of sense when you know Indiana has a bunch of players that they've developed not making money. They actually care about football. Yeah, they play like that. There's a certain vibe the Hoosiers have. They just look different than everybody else. Now, this group's going to go on. The Surratts of the world and those guys are going to go on. But you got to get lucky in here, you know? But I was watching a video channel, Shane Terrio, spelled like The Riot. Like that Terrio guy that used to play for the Cubs, The Riot. Great guitar player. One of my favorite guys out there. And has a YouTube channel, and he came late to the YouTube thing, and he's got like 22,000 followers, but he's a great musician, and he's a really good teacher. Like, I learned things from him. And he's a Cajun boy, but he was talking about, you know, people see him and they go, man, you got lucky. He said, I worked my ass off and made no money for 20 years. Before I got an opportunity to do whatever. And that's just how it is. You can look at somebody and go, wow, the guy better, he's young. But luck, you know, luck in a sporting sense, and a smart individual came up with this. I use individual because I like Butch Jones. Actually, I don't, but I like individual. A smart individual once said, that luck is where opportunity meets preparation. In a lot of cases, that's true. Now, I've told you the backstory on how this quarterback from Cal ended up there. He was supposed to go to Auburn. And they don't talk about it. Nobody talks about it. He won't talk about it. The truth is, if Jackson Arnold didn't go into the portal last year, that kid probably would have signed with Auburn. They want to make it sound like, yeah, they went and got him from Cal, and it's pretty lucky. It's pretty lucky. But like Neil said, the difference with Indiana is, and you have to acknowledge this, is that they get theirs and they make them better. They get yours and they make them better. They get his and they make them better. They get those over there and they make them better. Because there's no other way to explain a team with 0 5-star players And trust me when I tell you this, they're paying commensurate to what the University of Tennessee paid last fall. That's their payroll. Trust me when I tell you that. It's the truth. Tennessee knows it. I know it. The college football world knows it. And I'll tell you right now, if they can do it, we can do it. Now, how do you get there? You better evaluate what you're doing. You better know what you're looking at as a coach. And if this guy doesn't meet that criteria, we'll get a new guy in here. But Tennessee is spending to the level right now, even quote-unquote playing the game, Danny White. But I think Neil's right. I think that's just an excuse. But Tennessee's spending to a level where you can win a national championship. How do I know? Because Indiana's doing it, or at least get there. You better be able to understand what you're looking at for your program at every position. And I've said on here before, I don't know who does it for Indiana, but they are phenomenal. Phenomenal. Now, it's been said that Tennessee's going to make a run at Indiana's strength and conditioning coach, and that's why we haven't seen anything here. Hey, I hope they do that. I think the more important piece to Indiana is I'd figure out at the center of that deal who's the eval guy. Who's doing that? Who's serving in that capacity? And I'm not so sure I wouldn't hire 2 and 3 out of there to help me. You know? Brian, we're being told on YouTube right now that we ought to do let me see where we are in our likes. 210. All right. I probably waited too long to look. Could have gotten off earlier. Hey, Bri, we ought to do a thing. Maybe bring W. Lynn in here and let him do breaking down the cheerleading competitions, like a cheerleading post game called the floor exercise. Would you tune in, Bri, to hear W. Lynn hosting the floor exercise?
I wonder if the cheerleading team has had media guys from 1961 that he has to reference every now and then.
Brian goes hard in the paint sometimes on here, y'all.
I don't think you like my joke.
I enjoyed your joke very much. You go hard in the paint. If you saw my reaction on YouTube, you'd know I enjoyed your joke. I buried my hand in my head, and my head in my hand, or something like that. I think I buried my hand in my head. Yeah, that's what I did. They say Miami strength and conditioning coach of Canada. Hey, Miami strength and conditioning coach has more material to work with than we do. No offense to us. See, we didn't realize it this year because Miami played so far down. But how you have a team, okay, that has that much ability on your offense and defensive lines that can lose 2 ACC football games. I mean, that's what I do when I think about that. Because one thing about Miami, they could drag Indiana into a damn street fight tonight. You know? A street fight. They're very capable of that. I wonder if Indiana goes faster than they have this year. I wonder if that's their adjustment. Because when you walk and crawl with Miami, you're playing their game. Ohio State did it. They walked and crawled. A lot of experts thought, you know what? Ohio State, they're just keeping their powder dry to the postseason. And certainly, Scruffy Butch Jones, rustic-looking Butch Jones, ruddy-looking Butch Jones, winning Scruffy Butch Jones isn't going to do that when they get on the field with Miami. It's exactly what they did. And I got to tell you something. It's kind of what I was counting on when I called that shot. And Martin Luther King, I gave our YouTubers, because I love them. I love our YouTubers. I gave them 15 more minutes, to come up with 200 subscribers, and now, or likes rather, and now we're at 210. And Scruffy and Martin Luther King, because it's Martin Luther King Day, and Martin Luther King's name is Martin Luther King, the guy that I bet $50 on the Miami game. I'm going to give you a couple more weeks to come up with I want pennies. I want to be paid $50 in pennies from you for our bet. I think I'm a pretty, what's the word, Bri? I think I'm a pretty reasonable guy. Now, I love Martin Luther King. I love his family. He's a sweet guy.
You get your winnings from the bet quicker than Joshy Boy will get his copper card.
Well, I just going to say that. I'm going to give Martin Luther King $100 in gift cards back to him. He doesn't know that yet. But I'm going to hook him up with some Alumni Hall so he can get rid of some of that ugly Ohio State stuff they wear around so he can really fit in our area. So I'm going to give him something from Alumni Hall, and I'm going to give him a copper card because he comes out and supports our sponsors. But let's go to the phones. 865-200-5402. Irvin Young was at Tennessee in 2024. Jim Bob Cooter 15 is saying. That's a deep pull by you. We'll see what happens here. I like that Cochran guy. That Cochran guy who was at Alabama, you knew. Who knew? I knew when I used to look at him. But apparently he's gotten his life back in order. He had a problem there for a while, as we all tend to do. Let's get our next call in. Hello and welcome. You're on the air.
Tony and Zach, I got an idea for W. Lynn. It's more of an impression.
Do you have an idea for me?
Can I go?
Do you have an idea for me?
Well,
how am I going to get through all these post-game?
No, for W. Lynn, it's more of an impression on how I think it might go.
How about all these post-game shows? You and me, we sweat hoops. How are we going to sweat this, man?
Man, I was, you know how they say success has many fathers and defeat is an orphan?
Yes.
Well, Brian left you high and dry. Matt Diskin left you high and dry on Saturday. Mm-hmm. See, nowhere to be found. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate what you did on Saturday. Me and my son went down to that game, bought lower levels. We had to leave early because I said, I'm going to throw water on one of these Kentucky fans.
Good for you. You know yourself. Yeah, I was getting ready to snap and start cussing and screaming and yelling, and I just got off the air. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, these Kentucky fans, it's just like that guy that called a minute ago. They're okay. They can stay on the mental tracks for about 3 minutes, and then it's like, and it sucks because it is basketball season. I know there's a national championship game tonight, and I really don't care. The only reason I pull for anybody is what you said, maybe Jane Pauley, and I like John Mellencamp, and I know they're both Hoosiers.
That is cool, right? There's a lot of people who are... Indiana is a very, very, very sweet place. Like, those people up there are very sweet people, man. The great Al Brown is a native of Indiana.
Yeah.
I love those people, but you're getting ready to give me a buck. Go ahead. What's the big butt here?
Well, I mean, it's like that that they would trade their football glory for a basketball title, which is kind of deep down inside if you ask them all. I have a feeling. I just have a hard feeling. And but no, what you did Saturday was commendable. I'm like you. I need a week off. It would be nice to hear. I was going to do maybe like a quick impersonation if I can of W. Lynn.
Hit it.
So back in '65, Mary Lynn Blackburn did a real nice back handspring. Of course, them gals back then had to wear them long skirts for cheerleading, so it was a bit more difficult, Tony. But if you remember that,
Bridie boy, you see what you've done, Bri? You see what you've done, Briney boy?
I'm actually kind of proud.
She did a real nice back tuck. To win it all.
She had the saddle shoes. Mary Lynn had the saddle
She had
shoes.
them, she had.
It's on them saddle shoes.
She had them white and black saddle shoes. And they ruled the heel on them girls' saddle shoes was a quarter inch too long, but they.
Let's go! You nailed it, man. You're getting love. You're getting love over here. Love.
Hey, I'd take a Lady Vols post game if we're still undefeated when we play that Connecticut game. So
there you go. If we get through the Connecticut game undefeated, Lady Vol post game's coming. I'll come down here that night.
Yeah.
If we get through that game undefeated, I think that's going to be a 30-point defeat, though, personally. But that's not a story for another. I like this Chino guy. This Chino guy. Everybody left him for dead, and he's got a hell of a team this year, man. Don't count out old Gino.
Oh, I'm not. He's going right off.
Left for dead. They won the title last year.
No, I mean before that, Bri. Before that, when he got beat last year, we were talking about how it was over for him. Don't you remember, Bri?
Yep.
Brian was on here.
We were shoveling dirt.
Yep, we were shoveling dirt on him. Brian did. Brian shoveled dirt on him.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember it, Brian. I remember. No, it would be nice if our basketball team would. Because I like talking about the sport that's in season. I mean,
that's what I do.
The only thing I could really go to is, but we'd lose viewers by the minute if you start talking about hockey. Like my Lightning are really doing well. Your guys are going to make.
You beat the hell out my Flyers are done.
Twice.
You guys ended their season.
B2B, back to back. But I still think they have a chance. And the Predators had a nice little win against the Avalanche.
The Preds are right back in the middle of it. The Preds were at the bottom of the table, and all of a sudden they're in the middle of the playoff chase. And you know what Laura told me the other night when the Flyers got blowed out by the Rangers? Our kids were at the game. She said it's time for us to start watching the Predators. And I said, I don't have a Fubo subscription. I can't get the Predators on ESPN Plus because, God forbid, it's 3 hours away from here and they black us out every night. Like I'm going to drive to the damn
NHL doesn't want anybody watching their games.
Do what
which
now?
Can be a problem.
Do what now?
But I don't want to start chasing people off. But yeah, that would be great to hear some W. Lynn cheerlead 19, and congrats to the cheerleading squaw for winning that natty.
Thank you, my brother.
We can hang that in TBA.
Yep, right next to our once orphaned Elite Eight banner. Fort Barnes got here. Yes, Bri.
Back to the Lady Vols. Let's remember she had to kick who might have ended up being their leading scorer off the team back in preseason.
The Preds.
So just think how good they could have been. Maybe. But it had to be done.
The Preds are so much better an organization than the Titans. Yenzers. The Preds are so buttoned up. Such a good organization. Went and saw the Flyers down there in early November. Such a great experience. What a great barn for hockey, too. That's a great place to see a game. Great place. By the way, we've just gotten in a school closing for next Monday. People are looking at the advanced forecast. Danny White's next excuse is on as regularly scheduled. Hello and welcome into our next call. You're on the air.
A week early. Wow, that's the earliest we ever gotten to school closing.
Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Oh, Tony, this is Luke Italia / Lukey Dome. Tony Vitello.
Did you get your?
You said when the dust.
Did you get your newspapers from John Adams? Because I
got it.
I gave him your address, Luke.
Okay,
you
but
need to call
let me
tomorrow.
go John Adams before I go Tony Vitello.
You need to call tomorrow on the air and take that up with him because I gave him your address.
Okay. Well, on the Lady Vols, you could have it all girls. Let Mrs. B or your daughter or Holly could come in. And if they won't do it, you could get John Adams. He's got a high-pitched voice, and you could put a wig on him, and he would be great on doing the Lady Vols post-game show.
Brian, John Adams and drag, along with MC in the studio. Are you in or out on that?
I say that's a winner. John Adams has covered Lady Vol basketball before, so he does know the ins and outs of that sport.
Tony Vitale. Tony, you said when there's a soft period, when the dust settles, that you would interview Tony Vitale. And it's getting close to spring training, so are you going to be able to get that interview in and let us know when it's going to be?
Tony Vitale is making a he's doing the caravan thing around the state of California right now. He was doing a meet and greet with fans. He is handling this differently than a lot of Major League Baseball managers do. But that's what he's doing. He's putting the Tony touch on this deal, Lukey.
That's why he's going to be a winner. That's why he's going to be a winner.
Yep. Somebody told me last night, a buddy of mine, don't you think he'll be in over his head in San Francisco? And I said, maybe initially it'll be going fast for him. But I think the guy will acclimate, and I will never bet against Tony Vitello. That is one bright SOB, man. And he is an SOB.
Yeah, because
bright guy.
He works hard. He works hard.
Yep.
He works hard like you do. Well, the football game tonight, I'm for Indiana, too. I hope they win. I hope it's a close game. I would have been for Miami, but you got to root for Indiana. So, but they've got a good defense. Miami's got a good defense, so I think it's going to be a good game for a little while. And, but I feel like Indiana, they really won the national championship already anyway, even if they lose tonight. Hey, one other thing, Tony.
Yep.
Is it Brown that's that offensive end for Philadelphia? Is it A.J. Brown? Is that his name?
Yep.
Okay, now, I watched that game. I saw that. If somebody gave you a bear hug while you was playing the guitar, could you play the guitar if somebody was giving you a bear hug? Well, that's what they were doing. He was interfered with. They were holding him like crazy.
It's funny you'd say that. Last gig we had, I had two women jump up on stage and try to tackle me in the middle of one of our... I'm not joking. You think
you're going to have to be like Elvis? You're going to have to leave the building before the show.
I had two women jump up on stage and try to tackle me. So, yes, I can play with arms all over me. It's something I've gotten used to down through the years.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I want to compliment you on the end of the show Friday, your end of the show. That little talk you gave us was really good. That was a great talk. I really enjoyed that.
And what was that about?
You was talking about how people call in and say things they shouldn't say. What I forgot what the word was. Maybe Brian remembers, but they try to tell you what's really happening when they don't know what they're talking about.
But
you gave them a nice little speech.
Really, at the end of the day, what was wrapped in that, what got lost in that is how much I love what we do here.
Oh, yeah, you did a great job.
And I celebrate our community. We celebrate each other. We make each other angry. But look, man, when Nega Dave's dad has a receiving of friends, I'm going to post that. Maybe some folks can go there and just show Dave we love him. Like we did for David Stinson's family when he passed away. And some folks went out and saw them. And at the end of the day, we're here for each other, man.
Exactly right. You're exactly right.
And despite what people may think of me, and most of it's probably right, because I'm a flawed guy with an ego like anybody else that does what I do. Anybody gets behind a microphone, like my boy Shane the Riot said, anybody that attempts to play music and get out in front of people, you got to be a little different to do that. Anybody that gets behind a microphone, you got to be a little different to do that. We all have ego. It's okay. And every once in a while, mine gets kind of bruised, and I get all up in my feels. And every once in a while, I'll cross a line on here and get really angry and get a lot madder than I should. And Laura, I'll go upstairs and she'll go, "Why you let that guy get to you?" And I'll go, "I don't know. Because if I thought it out, I wouldn't let that guy get to me." But
you got a lot of pride.
Yeah, I got too much pride. Foolish pride, Doug.
Hey,
foolish pride.
One other thing, Tony. This is kind of funny. You ever get on the treadmill? And I get on the treadmill sometimes. I might be on there 30 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes, or a little bit longer. And you think you've lost weight.
Yep.
But when you get off the treadmill, you just feel like you've gained weight instead of lost weight.
That's right.
That's weird.
Well, you're building muscle, though. So a lot of times, Luke, actually, as you build muscle, you actually do gain weight. So if you weigh yourself as you try to get in shape, sometimes you do gain weight.
Well, how would you gain muscle if you're on a treadmill? Just you're talking about the legs?
Yeah, you limber up. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Is that what's happened to you, Luke? You gaining weight?
Well, I was overweight already, but
you look good. I see you walking with your lovely in the park. We walked by you a couple days ago, Luke, and you didn't recognize me. I was with Laura, and we walked right past you guys.
I know it. Hey, you know what happened last week? When we was talking about the John Adams thing?
Yep.
Well, you said you was going to be at the park. Here's what happened. I went down to the park because I kind of timed it because I knew about what time you'd be there.
Yep.
So I'm walking. Now, this is not the when you pass. This is after that. But I seen two people coming.
Yep.
I walk around. And they look. One of them looks like Laura, a blonde-headed Laura. I thought she had dyed her hair.
Yep.
And then I thought that was you.
Damn, that guy was good looking.
You was playing with your phone, so I didn't say nothing. Well, I walk all the way around. I didn't say nothing because I wasn't positive. Well, I walk around on the other side of the park. I knew I'd meet y'all coming back around. And I thought, here they come. I said to myself, here they come. I said, hey, Tony. Hey, Laura. They looked at me like I was stupid, I messed it up, It wasn't you and her. But it certainly looked like y'all a little bit.
Luke, thank you. Good talking to you. Goodness gracious. Bryce, if we didn't get those 200 likes, I wouldn't have heard that.
I'm trying to figure out what an offensive end is.
865-200-5402. Perhaps the best thing to come out of that is we will have a new screen name for somebody tomorrow. W. Lynn's Breath is suggesting that Luke's treadmill needs to become a thing over on YouTube. Buddy of mine said the greatest thing about YouTube are some of the names that some of these people have. One of these comedians, let's see if I can figure out which comedian it was. It's one of the dentists in here. He said, and I love this. An hour or so ago, he wrote, I just disliked the show just now because I want you to get off early and take care of yourself. He hit the dislike button, Bri.
Well, that's not the worst idea I've heard. I'll be honest.
Back to the phones we go. Hello, and Brian might get in there. Brian didn't know there was a dislike button on it. Brian might get in there now and start hitting the dislike button. Hello and welcome in. I can't wait for the G10 bar, though, that Alan Ward keeps talking about. Danny White's G10 bar. The G10 bar and grill. Maybe he'll decorate that thing with some Notre Dame swag. Hello and welcome in. You're on the air.
Hey, Tony. How you doing, brother?
There he is.
Hey, let me ask you a question.
Yep.
Ask you guys a question.
Yes, sir.
First off here, watching this basketball game against Kentucky, and let me say it all, too. I did not turn on your post game. I was pretty much teed off, and I didn't want my blood pressure to go any higher than it was. So, and not disrespectful for you, but I just
no. Listen. People think again that when we lose games like that the talk. It's great for my business. It's terrible for our business. It's terrible for numbers. It's terrible for business. It's terrible for... Now, look, we had a high listenership after the game, but the Kentucky fans bombarded us. And why wouldn't you? If I'd beaten somebody 6 or 7 times, and I was them, and I thought we were going to lose and get rolled, which is what they thought, because we should have gotten rolled by LSU, but LSU couldn't finish the deal. Greg, our coach loves pulling guys off the floor with 2 fouls. I think he would do it again if given the chance, Greg.
Yeah, I don't think I would until the 3rd foul on some of the guys anyway.
Of course.
That happens.
You got to leave Gillespie out there.
You got to leave him out there, but you got to teach him also what kind of teased me off, and I wonder about their basketball IQ, every one of them, even the high-star ranked guys. Gillespie nonchalantly tossing the ball to the left, just put a lot of air under it, and it was stolen by Kentucky and went down for a layup. I just don't understand in that high ranking of basketball in the SEC where guys, nonchalantly, or they kind of give away what they're going to do with the basketball.
Crazy.
By doing it too many times when you come down court.
Crazy.
To the front court, you're indicating too many times the same thing, and the guys jump in the lane because they expect you to do that.
And then you foul them on the back end. Let's take something that's that whole implosion in the last 90 seconds the other day. That does not give me hope for this team going forward. And we're going to talk about this with Mark Griffin tomorrow. Greg, can teams get more instinctive, or is this team just not an instinctive group? Can you grow in that end? Can you coach that?
How do you get up 17 points and you look like, and I was worried about the second half, guys.
Always.
I was worried about the reputation of these guys.
Yep.
And they were all having trouble to begin with all season long. Played their best game against Houston.
That's right.
Greg, how many games?
How many games, Greg, have you called down through the years down there at Columbia State?
Over 1,000.
Okay.
This is my 20th year.
When you see a team up 17 in the first half, right? Your level of expectation for getting that home with a victory, 99 times out of 100, you're winning that game. Rick Barnes said the other day, 17 points, nothing in our game. The hell it's not. But what you've got to do is you've got to score the next 7 points. See, Barnes was kind of excusing it. Well, I knew when we're up 17, in our sport, those leads, they do? You're going to give a 17-point lead away just like that? Because his mentality is those leads disappear all the time. No, they don't. Score the next 7 and hammer them. Leave your guard on the floor who's leading you in scoring. You can't just take him out and handcuff yourself and put that kid out there that Bino said today, which is a great line. The kid they got, the Israeli kid. How many players between him and Israel are better than him? And I said the number's got to be like 165,435.2. Greg, there's got to be more than 100,000 kids better than him between here and Israel. Yes or no?
I agree. I agree.
I mean, that poor kid struggles now.
Cross-court passes is a no-no. I just don't understand the way they are executing. It just kind of grabs me. You talk about, being down. Columbia State back in 2020 before COVID hit.
Yep.
They were in the championship game of the state. They were down 17 points at halftime. I think it was. Might have been 14. Yep. But anyway, they came back and put it on them and took the lead and won the game. And then the NCAA canceled the national tournament because of COVID. But, it happens, but I don't know. Tennessee, we had a lot of great thinking about what was going to happen in this year when they played Houston, and then things have kind of just, I don't know, gone sideways.
Hey, Greg,
I wanted to tell you,
give out your sports channel, like how people can see you on YouTube. When's your next game?
31st. We've got 3 road games. I don't go to road games because the other colleges handle their own streaming. That's how they do it in the Tennessee Community College. 31st will be my final basketball game. Then I got baseball and softball February 3rd. Baseball, their home opener against Northwest Mississippi, and then softball plays Bevel State on the 7th of February. TennesseeSportsNet.com is the YouTube channel.
You would really be blown away at how good Greg is at play-by-play. He's excellent.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I saw somebody on YouTube ask what kind of mic I use. Well, right now I'm using an Electro Voice mic, desk mic, real good mic.
That's a great mic.
I use a Sennheiser headset.
Oh, I love my Sennheiser.
Yep, they're the best ever.
I love them.
But also, I wanted to mention the Lady Vols are not undefeated. They are undefeated in the conference right now, 5-0.
That's right. The SEC has about 4 or 5 teams that are paying these women to play, and the rest of them are just putting like really brutal teams. That Alabama team yesterday is not good at all compared to our group.
They got a girl from Loretto, the Weathers kid, David Weathers' daughter.
I didn't know that.
And Ryan Weathers,
that's cool.
Her brother, he just got traded to the Yankees. He was over at San Diego for a while, but I'm not sure where he was now, if he was still at San Diego. But he pitched one game for San Diego, did decently, but I haven't seen him much, in the news in Major League Baseball. But I understand he got traded to the Yankees, so we might see him on the field. I don't know. But I wanted to mention the Lady Vols again.
Yep.
You talked about the point guard, Mia Poldo. She is a dynamite player. She's a twin, a freshman.
I'm aware of
a few
all
games ago, she had 25 points.
Yep.
And against Alabama the other day, she hit 2 big threes, nothing but the net. Great shots.
I want to see her against bigger competition, better players. I want to see what it looks like.
And it's coming up. I think they got one stretch where they play UConn, South Carolina, and somebody else. I forgot who it was now. But they looked good against UCLA several weeks ago out there. But I think the trip kind of got them at the end because they lost the game. But I thought they should have won the game. But anyway.
Greg, you're the man. I love you.
I'm worried about the Vols basketball team. And talk about it. Do you think the guys have good basketball IQ?
This team?
Yeah.
This team's not going to be, and Greg, thank you. This team's not going to be put on the adopted by the Mensa Society. No. This team's what you call challenged. IQ challenged. Kind of like me when I'm watching Jeopardy. Brian, there's breaking news on Matt Diskin. I didn't know this, but W. Lynn's Breath is reporting that Matt Diskin was with Fight Club Clay, which that does track. They know each other. And Diskin is very fond of Fight Club Clay. Apparently, they got into a confrontation with some Kentucky fans over the weekend. Apparently, fists were exchanged. Apparently, arrests were made. And W. Lynn's Breath is reporting I haven't been able to get in touch with Diskin ever since. So, is he in or out tomorrow, Brian? He might be out, huh? If that's the case. Is Diskin in the pokey?
Well, maybe we'll have to get a collection going, GoFundMe, to bail Matt Diskin out.
Do tell. Well, that's an hour and 5 minutes of an overtime that I didn't make a dime doing. But I love you, and I appreciate you. And it's pretty incredible. Hope you have a great day. Hope you have a blessed day. Stay warm. Stock up. Stay out of trouble. We want you all here. And And we'll come back tomorrow and do this all over again, God willing. And Dave, Nega Dave, we love you. Condolences up to you, my man. And until we meet again, for Brian Hartman, my name is Basilio. Tomorrow, John Adams is going to be here, but listen anyway. We're also going to have, hopefully, Matt Diskin, if he gets out of the pokey. And we're also going to have somebody from Colorado talking about this quarterback that we just got. Who knows? This guy might be the next Joey Football, for all I know. I guess you never know, do you? But we love you. We appreciate you. I am straight, and I mean straight up. Straight. S-C-R-A-I-G-H-T. I am straight up cheering for Indiana tonight. It'd be one of the great sports stories ever if they won a national championship in football. Just straight up. Peace on the streets. Peace on the streets, Tennessee. Peace on the streets. Peace in the Middle East. Peace, peace to you. You Kentucky sheep. You're a bunch of lose.
You found TonyBasilio.com, home of the Tony Basilio Show. In just a few minutes, we'll be right with you with another award-winning, action-packed edition of your Tony Basilio Show.